issue 226. My name is Nicolette.
Rene.
Sean.
This is Bryan.
And welcome to Keeping Up with the Nerds, everybody.
Hey, that was a little ad-libbed one, but it still worked.
The correct address is... wait, oh my God.
No,
why
you
did I
said
forget
it.
the address? No.
You said it right?
12. No, you forgot the 120. You forgot the 9.
Oh.
Yeah, 12920.
I thought there was a 9, and then I was like,
Philadelphia
no,
Street.
last time I messed up with the 7, so I'm not going to do it. I was like, then everybody's going to be like, oh, now what's your 9s? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't
Give me the numbers! Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 226. Don't forget to check out our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com. Check out our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and xmen.com. Check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Keeping Up with the Nerds. And don't forget to follow us on our audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean. If you guys are on YouTube, please subscribe. We're at 265 subs right now. We would love to get to 270 by the end of the year, hopefully. Maybe even more, maybe 275. Let's see what we can do. But yeah, thank you so much for all who have joined so far, who have commented or liked the video, shared the video. We really appreciate you guys.
Love you guys.
How have you guys been?
We don't have time for that. Let's get to the news.
So I actually do have I have two stories that were actually really funny.
Well, we're recording on a Saturday morning.
We're recording on a Saturday. That's why we do have kind of a time crunch. But anyway, so this week was my birthday.
Yes. Oh, happy birthday,
Yeah, thank you.
Happy birthday, Nicholas. Merry
Thank you.
Christmas.
Yeah, I know. So I went out drinking with a couple of coworkers last night, and as we went out drinking,
Santa drinks? Damn,
Huh?
dude. Santa drinks?
yeah, Santa drinks.
drinks
Yeah, what do you think is an eggnog?
True.
He drinks eggnog, bro. Come on. Anyway, so we're so one of the girls wanted one of our coworkers wanted to go somewhere, and she was
One of my elves.
one of my ale. No, she was like, oh, I want to go to like a place that like we can go dancing and everything like that. And so we ended up
South Pole.
So we ended up showing up.
So let me tell you about this place.
Yeah. So we ended up showing up to this bar. It was in Alhambra. The easiest way for me to describe this bar is Fast and the Furious turned into a building.
What?
That sells alcohol, because literally all of the DJ, there was a DJ, but I'm positive he just had the Fast and the Furious soundtrack playing.
Which one? Are we talking
Like all of them.
I think
before
Fast
5?
Probably Fast 5.
Fast 5.
That's
Fast,
the most like memorable sound.
yeah, like Fast 4 all the way to like 7.
Okay.
Maybe that one song from Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, I thought it was so funny because I'm sitting there and I'm just listening and I'm like, I think he's just playing the Fast and the Furious soundtrack, and like there's just like a lot of people being super rowdy, everything like that, and it's super loud, and then I see this one girl. I have never seen Gen Zers, like new 21-year-olds, be in a club, like be in a bar setting. It is one of the funniest things in the world. So this girl is on top of this guy. Mind you, she's like in a little dress, everything else. She's like she's just on him, just riding right in the middle of the thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, whatever. She's in the middle of this grind session, takes out her phone and checks Instagram. What? In the middle of it. I'm like, and I'm sitting, yeah, she's like, and then I'm like watching with one of my coworkers and I'm like, is she on Instagram? And then all of a sudden, like, you see her, and then she then goes, as she's doing this, and then like snap, then puts it down, and then I'm like, did she just take a photo? I'm like, did she just take a photo while she was grinding on this dude?
For the gram.
And I'm like, there's no way that just happened.
Right.
And then the song ends, and then the girl was like, didn't even say like cool or like, oh, like the guy go get her a drink. She just got up and then like walked away, and the guy was like, all right.
He was a prop. He
and
was
he
a
just
prop
sat there.
for her
Dude,
video.
I was like, what is this?
So
like, where am I?
Gen Zers and the Alphas are the NPC generation.
Bro, for
Yeah,
real.
no.
Yeah, we are.
I felt like I was in Grand Theft
No, you're
Auto,
not
dude.
wrong.
Like,
No, you're not wrong.
You just saw like an animation of like,
yeah, just like, dude, I'm just like, So then it was
grabs a drink.
Then it was so funny. It was so funny because one of my coworkers So one of my coworkers, she came back for the Christmas party.
Yeah.
So she left, and then she was invited to the Christmas party, and then we ended up going getting drinks with her, and we hadn't seen her in a couple of months. But right before she quit, her mother had passed away.
Oh.
So and we, she took a month off, everything like that. So my coworker, he's drunk, and we're sitting in the bar, and we're all just kind of like, we're grooving to the music and everything else. Mind you, he's drunk. So then he turns to her.
Funny in my head.
He turns to her and he then goes, "So how's your mom?"
Oh.
And then all of a sudden, like, you just see her face of like, I look and I'm like, she's dead.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she starts laughing and she's like, for like a while.
Yeah.
And he's like, "When did this happen?" And she goes, "Before I left the job. What are you talking about?" She goes, and then I go, yeah, dude. Don't you remember she was gone for like a month? What did you think she was doing? He goes, "I don't know. Like maybe she had to take care of things. I thought she was only gone for like a week."
Yeah,
she goes,
take care of burying her mom.
She could have just played it off with like, she's been doing well. She's been getting a lot of sleep, which is really great.
She thought about it. She was originally gonna say is
I would have done that.
what she originally, before I interrupted, was gonna say she's been sleeping a lot and we're getting worried.
She's been sleeping for a little while now.
Yeah, like it's almost a coma.
The snoring has stopped.
And so
She's starting to smell a little bad.
he just started feeling really bad, and he was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I asked you that. Oh my God. And then, mind you, he's drunk, and then we're making fun of him, and he goes, "Guys, I need time to mourn. Give me this time." And then she goes,
Why is it about you?
"Why is it about you?
Yeah.
It's my mom." And then he's like, "Oh, I need time to mourn. You already had this time to mourn." And we're just like,
God.
"What are you talking about?"
I'm drunk. We make it about me.
Yeah.
Wee.
It was so funny, man. It was really, really funny. But yeah, man, it was I being at a in a bar setting with all these people. It's really funny. And then I was talking to one of the girls, because she's like 25 that we went out with, whatever. She's pounding him back, mind you. I'm drinking with her, and I'm drinking it. Everything that she's pulling out, I'm drinking as well. She was like, "I'm gonna buy you drinks because it's your birthday," and I was like, "I'm not gonna complain."
I left my wallet at home. So
yeah, I was like, "All right, I'm not gonna complain." And so she's like, "Okay," and then I got she got like Jameson and Coke. Like she just kept getting Jamesons and Cokes, and I'm like, "All right, cool." It would come out. I don't really like Jameson, so I just went, boom, took it down, and then she goes, "You just went up 5 cool points in my book." And I was like, "Thank you."
Just for downing Jameson and Coke?
Because apparently I can drink fast, and I was just chugging them. And then I was like, "You're going down cool points."
Do Zoomers think that we're that old that we can't hang?
I don't know, but like I was like, "You're going down cool
Speak for
points because
yourself. Okay, I can hang.
yeah,
No, that's what I mean.
can't.
yeah."
It's
Because
like we just choose not to.
Yeah.
Like some of us choose not to.
it was so funny too, because the place was so loud. It was so loud that it was one of those places of you're yelling and you still can't hear what they're saying.
Oh, man.
So you're trying to read lips. So she's like, so she's telling me, "Hey, when you're done with your beer, let me know and I'll get you another drink." And I went, and then she goes,
first of all, that's not how she said it, because Zoomers don't do this.
"Yeah, they don't
anymore.
do this anymore."
They don't do. They go like this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but anyway,
Skibidi.
so, yeah. so then I go. I thought she had just told me something random, not like, "Oh, let me buy you a drink." And then I went, and then she goes, and then I finished the drink, and then she goes, "What do you want?" And I'm like, and then she goes, "What do you want?" And I'm like, she's like, and she goes, "What do you want?" And then I got up and I walked next to her and I go, "I'm honest, I'm being 100%. I can't hear a single thing you're saying." I go,
the trick
"What did
to
you?"
it.
I
Yeah.
go, "What did you?"
It's just like that answer that you just give to people when you don't understand it. Yeah, totally.
Oh, didn't How I Met Your Mother do that joke? Yeah, they did. I was like,
But that was why. So then she goes like, "I was asking what you wanted to drink," and I'm like, "What are you getting?" And she's like, "Jamesons and Cokes," and I'm like, "I guess we're drinking Jamesons and Cokes. Let's do it. Let's
Can you
do it."
imagine if like, "What do you want to drink?" "Well, to be honest, our economy is not that great right now." Like, I think what we need is a real overhaul of the government system.
I just decided to do an economics lesson.
Yeah, it's just like, but that's my opinion. It's just like,
And then so we're sitting there, and then and every single time that we're drinking, she's always like, "Cheers, cheers." And everybody cheers, and then like at the very end, she's like drinking and everything like that. And she's like, and then we get another couple of drinks. Cheers, cheers, and then everything else. And I go, "Do you know why?"
For every sip or what? Like,
no.
cheers.
It was.
Did you hit him with a history lesson? On
I
this
did.
One? Oh my
I did.
God.
So then I was like, "Oh, do you know why we cheers?" And then she goes, "No, why?" She goes, and I'm like, "It's medieval. Like that's why we cheers." And she goes, "Why would it? Why would it?"
Like,
She goes, "Why would it be medieval? Like that doesn't make any sense." And I go, "Because when you used to come into a castle, the goblets were like wood and like made out of metal and stuff like that. And then what would happen is during the party, everybody at the party would then cheers, but they would make sure to clank as hard as they could. You needed to hear the clank. That was why when you hear the clanks when you're cheersing, that's what the noise you're supposed to hear." She goes, "Well, what did that do?" And I go, "Well, when you clank, my liquid goes into your cup, and then your cup liquid goes into mine. So the idea is that no one is getting poisoned. We all trust each other." And then she goes, "Oh my God, like I love that so much more now." Oh my God. I was like, oh, "Okay."
Oh my God, that is so cute.
And I'm like,
So trusting.
she's
giving trust.
She's cool.
Gives
She
trust.
which one? She's cool. She's cool.
Yeah.
They're like the people. The group we went out with was cool and everything. It was just it was an awkward environment.
Yeah.
Because I'm so
You were drunk and it was loud.
And
No,
listening
I
to
wasn't even
Fast
drunk
and
though. That was the
Furious.
worst part. Like I was drinking. I drank a lot and I didn't feel anything. And I was telling Rene, which was the worst part, because I don't know why my body does this now. I wasn't feeling drunk at all. I was like, okay, cool, like whatever. I guess I just didn't get drunk tonight. And then I went home. I got Carl's Jr. I parked my car. I walked into the house.
Sounds good.
And then I like started like taking off like my clothes and everything else. And right when I took off my clothes, boom, all the alcohol hit me at once. And I was like,
That's the best feeling, dude.
Basically,
I'm like,
basically,
whoa.
Basically, you're Baymax with low battery.
I was like, whoa. I was like, oh no.
I still got
Dude, I got the spin so bad. I just fell into bed, and I'm like, and then Monica had texted me and going like, "Tell me when you get home." And I had to like struggle. I had to struggle to get my phone just like home.
You took all your strength just to put those 4 letters. H-O-M-E.
I don't want to die.
I'm scared.
She'll murder me if I don't send this.
You won't wake up.
You wake up
No,
and Monica like
I'm
right
gonna,
over
I'm gonna
you.
wake up with her just like here, just going like, "Did you make it home?"
Yeah.
Just like, I don't
Like
know.
the scenes from Goodfellas when Ray Liotta wakes up, his wife has a gun to his face. You didn't text me back. Okay.
Babe, I swear I'm home. I'm home. Where do you think you're talking to me right now?
Oh,
So yeah, that was my night.
yeah, how
And then I-
fun.
That was your night? That was a night?
That was a night. That was last night.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that
wait,
was,
what time did you get home?
I got home like 3.
Oh, okay.
Like
Because
at
I
3
drove
o'clock?
by your place just to see the.
The lights.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
I
really
wasn't home.
nice.
Yeah. Huh?
They're really nice.
Yeah,
His
I
mom
know.
does a
Yeah.
great job every year.
Oh
I love
yeah,
that.
she
Did
did.
she
a
add
really good
more?
job.
Shout out.
Yeah, she. This is it's a new theme this year.
What's your mom's name again?
Lori.
Lauren.
Shout out, Lori. Great lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lori Valero.
Yeah.
Did she have a bunch of trees in her house again?
She has 10.
Just
10 trees?
10
Yeah.
trees.
How many did
yeah.
she have last year?
5.
15.
Was it-
What?
Oh, she cut down. Dang.
Yeah, she cut down.
Wait,
this
oh,
year.
we're talking about just trees in general.
Trees
Yeah,
in
just her
general.
Christmas trees.
Like her
Remember,
Christmas
like
trees.
every
Yeah, there
year?
were-
Yeah, there's like a bunch of Christmas trees in
She
there.
had 3 in the living room.
Yeah.
Last time.
There's 2 in the living room.
Oh, she has like 2 in the kitchen.
There's 2. There's 2. 1 in the kitchen
Okay.
this year because she also bought like a giant gingerbread house that's like this big.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It's like a gingerbread castle.
Yeah.
She bought that, and that's like sitting on like her mantle now. She has a tree in the middle of the like foyer. She also has a tree in the hallway.
Does she still have her naughty tree out?
No, not this year because she went.
about
She
Tiffany and
loves
Co.
that
one?
naughty
Huh?
tree.
Tiffany and Co.
Naughty tree.
Yeah,
she has
she
like
did-
a naughty tree.
she-
yeah.
They have, like
she-
ball gags. There's like ornaments.
It's
butt
it's
plugs.
gingerbread with ball gags in their
Yeah,
mouth, and like
That's-
with
that's
like
Oh,
funny.
that
with
was
like
the
yeah.
bondage
with like
tree.
Yeah.
with like
Yeah,
with like
that's
with like
right.
leather
Love that
with like
tree.
leather and everything like that,
Yeah.
and it's all the gingerbread.
Oh a fan of that.
So, because we drove
Mandy
by
wants to get a tree like
we
that.
drove by your place yesterday
Yes,
to
sir.
show a friend of ours the house, and then Andy was like talking about the different trees inside. And honestly, I was like, oh, I was mentioning the different ones. I was like, yeah, she's got like a life-size Santa, a Tiffany and Co. tree. It's pretty cool.
No, yeah.
And the first tree that comes out of Andy's mouth, she was like, yeah, she also has a bondage tree. And I'm like, that's the one that you just said.
feel like-
Okay.
I feel like
I get
Andy's
it,
gonna
though.
read some spicy books later.
Yeah. 100%. I'm not gonna lie. The most memorable. Like, it definitely is the most memorable of her trees. Well, she went with Santa's Village this year.
Oh, okay.
Because last year, which I thought was hilarious, because she did the bondage tree, and last year was Christ. That was her. That was like her theme.
Well, technically,
was like the
technically.
nativity and it was. Oh, sorry, it was angels. It was angels was her theme. That's why she had angels all over the place.
Is the life-size Santa out?
The life-size Santa is scaring me at night.
He walks over to the kitchen. Ah!
Dude, he's just
I know. He just stands there like.
He sees you when
See
you're
his head
sleeping.
turn around slowly like
like
this.
no, because then
Oh my god,
dude, he would be destroyed.
Yeah, I would say. Can you imagine if he's standing there, you're walking, he's just moves
He's
his
following
head.
you?
Yeah, it just moves his head.
And then out of nowhere, all you hear is ho ho ho.
All you hear is David Harbour's voice.
yeah.
Dude, if I hear David Harbour's voice, I'm bending over and pulling my pants down. He can do whatever he wants to me. I'm getting my cheeks and I'm spreading them. That's what I'm doing. It's David Harbour.
All right, Santa. Now you're gonna see why I'm on the naughty list.
Santa put me on the naughty list.
Andy added that to our Christmas watch list.
Good.
Silent
Yeah,
Night. Yeah,
Silent
I'm
Night's
like, yeah.
it's a good movie.
I'm like,
I
what
love
have
that movie.
what have I done, dude? How did I influence this woman?
It's good. It's a solid movie.
It's
also,
so good.
it's not for you.
Also,
The movie is not for you. It's not for you. It's for her. So that way she could sit there and go,
All right, Santa.
Yeah.
I see why Mrs. Claus is into it. You know.
all right, Santa, you do whatever you want.
I
Oh,
know, yeah.
Santa's on the naughty list this year.
Santa Daddy. That's what
I know,
Mandy
Santa
calls the movie,
Daddy.
Santa Daddy. She calls Silent Night Santa Daddy. Like,
How did David Harbour go from like low life kind of character in Stranger Things to like most wanted?
He had a really big resurgence
Yeah.
after Stranger Things, and I'm super happy about
It's
it.
good. Good for
Because
him.
David Arbor was only getting a lot of like side roles.
He was.
for the longest time.
I recently watched a movie that he was super young in, and it was a movie. It's End of Watch with
He is in
Jake
End of Watch,
Gyllenhaal
yeah.
and Mike Pena.
Is
He
he
plays
one
one
of
of the cops on the
Yeah.
movie. And I was like, it's just like not a baby face, but just like a little younger
clean-shaven
face.
too, right?
Yeah.
and then he's also in the newsroom.
Oh, he is.
He's in the
yeah.
newsroom. Yeah, he plays the other anchor.
Yeah.
he plays the other anchor. Yeah, that's why I was rewatching it, and I go, man, I forget David Arbor is really good at this.
Yeah, he's been in the business for a while, so it's funny to see when actors that put in time like that, and then they get a surgence now, like
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal's been in the business for
Dude,
so long.
Pedro Pascal was in Buffy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was in Buffy.
yeah, dude.
Like a young Pedro Pascal is in Buffy, and it's the episode where Buffy goes on a date with him.
Why do you say
And
it
then
like that?
Buffy. Well,
That's how
because
you remember it.
that's how you remember it. Buffy.
Buffy.
Big booty.
I think it just depends on the actors.
Scoobies.
Skippy.
What's it called? They're agents, dude.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes, and I hate this thing that they say like, oh, once you're in a Marvel movie or you're in that industry,
Yeah.
like you're done. But no, David Arbor's still getting roles and still doing work even after being the Red Guardian.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's still the Red
and,
Guardian.
and Hellboy, which
Oh, he was Hellboy.
But
It was
I
a
don't,
good
I don't,
Hellboy.
I don't
But-
blame him for that movie for flopping. I think he actually did a really
No,
good job.
He
with
did
the
a good
character.
job.
Da-
It's just
Da-
the story.
David
Yeah,
Arbor
right.
is really good. We'll talk about it later with Creature Commandos because I like him as Frankenstein.
That's
actually-
right, he is.
David
in
Arbor
Frankenstein.
is Frankenstein, so I really like him as Frankenstein.
Which
so
is cool
far.
because now he's contracted to play that character in live action.
Yeah.
If he ever gets a live action role, for
I
that
love the
character.
idea. I do love the idea that what was it? That James Gunn is going. I'm just gonna pick from everywhere.
Yeah.
Like all these really
Which is,
great actors.
but that's the thing. Okay, we'll get into
We'll get
more
into
it,
Creature
yeah.
Commandos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
But-
so do you have something else or
No.
No, is it
no,
okay?
that-
So
Oh,
what-
if you are looking for holiday cookies, though, my mother is taking orders.
They are
can you
good.
send
They
links
are
to
good.
put it
Yeah,
on the
it's,
description?
it's at Lolly's Cookies.
They are very good cookies.
Or
by the way.
which one? Lolly's Oven Magic. That's what it was.
Put them in the. We'll
Yeah, I'll
send
put
you
it.
the link.
I'll
Yeah,
send you a
it'll be in the
link. Yeah,
description.
yeah. Go make some. Go get her cookies. She's doing a bunch of Christmas cookies. They're delicious.
They are.
They're really pretty too.
Oh yeah.
They are.
In case you have a Christmas event or anything else that you
Want to
want
put
to
your
take
face on a cookie?
You want to put your face on a cookie? You can put your face on a cookie.
Yeah.
You want your face on a cookie?
I wouldn't
kinda
mind
do.
my face on a cookie.
Huh?
I wouldn't mind my face on a cookie.
No?
I've done it a couple of times.
That'd be hilarious.
Moving on.
No, we got a pretty packed show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about Creature Commandos,
Yeah.
Skeleton Crew. We got comic strips and Marvel Rivals
Yeah.
came out. So that's going to be a pretty interesting thing. But we'll start with comic strips. Sean, go ahead.
Comic strips, the portion of the show where we don't take more than 10 to 15 minutes tangenting. And we got some crazy stuff in the news.
I love how it's like Nick and Sean have like
Yeah.
switched roles. Like they like, Nick was going to do the intro. Yeah. 7. And now Sean's just like 15.
Hold on. Wait a minute. If you guys didn't bring it up, no one would have noticed that I missed it. I messed up on the address.
I wasn't going
That's
to bring
true.
up the 9.
It's just, huh?
Yeah, the 9.
no one
I
would have.
didn't say
If you didn't
anything.
mention it, no one would have noticed.
Yeah,
No
maybe.
one would have noticed.
It's just funny to me, dude. It's okay. All right, Sean, hit us.
Okay, so on
Slap me
some
with
light news, Brett Goldstein, the man from Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso?
Ted Lasso. I don't know what his character name is. He's being eyed to be portraying Hagrid in the new Harry Potter TV show.
He was also Merlin in, oh my God, Kingsman.
No, not that actor.
No?
No, this is from
Ted Lasso.
yeah, Ted Lasso.
Wait, Brett Goldstein. Oh, no, I'm thinking of the other guy.
Wait,
The
which-
really
Brett
ang-
Goldstein,
the really
yeah.
angry guy.
Yeah.
who's
The
quiet
guy that played
sometimes.
Roy. He
Oh,
played
Roy.
Roy
Oh,
Kent.
That's what I'm
yes.
thinking about. Never mind.
All of you
He's also
have seen my ass, and none of you said anything.
and you all know it has no hair on
It
it.
has no hair on it.
I'm ashamed.
Boy, Harry Potter. Why have you left the grounds again?
Right?
Wait, so he's being eyed for Snape?
For
Or,
Hagrid.
no,
Hagrid?
That's
Hagrid.
funny.
That would be a good one.
Hello,
You know what?
Harry.
You know what?
Happy birthday.
He's all.
You little.
No, you know what?
Can
I
you mark that time, please?
I think
I had
it's.
to say.
I think
it
it's.
says that a lot on the
Yeah,
show.
no, I think it's so funny because I don't know if you guys have seen Shrinked or
No.
Shrinking. He's in it.
I've heard of that show. I think.
Yeah, he came in at the end of last season. He's and right now he's a very sympathetic character.
Oh, so he
And-
can play sympathetic?
Oh, dude, he plays great sympathetic.
Nice, okay.
Because because you know the premise of Shrinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of like their what was it? His wife gets hit by a drunk driver and everything.
Jason
else.
Segel and
Yeah.
Harrison Ford. Yeah.
He plays the drunk driver.
Oh.
And like he's trying to
gotta
make
watch that then.
and he's trying to make amends, and he doesn't know how to do it, and his entire life fell apart after killing his wife, and
Does
he
he have
ended.
a British accent?
No, he has an American accent.
Ooh,
He has an American accent in this one, and he's like a very soft-spoken character.
He's
and
got range.
yeah, and
Oh,
he's
okay.
and he's
That's
like
cool.
and he's kind of just taking
I have to watch
beatings.
Shrinking now. Yeah.
But he's just taking beatings because Jason Segel and the girl that plays his daughter, they're just cursing him out. Like all of their friends, every single time that they bump into him, they curse him out, and he just like takes it, and he goes, whatever you have to tell me, I'll take it.
You know, it's interesting. Apple TV has this interesting quality of content that I've watched because I've been subscribed now.
Uh-huh.
And some of the stuff on there is really well written.
great.
Like Ted Lasso is a beautiful
Have you played?
show.
Have you watched Blackbird?
Yes, that's such
good.
a good show.
But I think it's because
really,
Apple
really good.
TV is not. This is my conspiracy theory. Apple TV itself isn't profiting. They're using money and funds from other portions of Apple, their
Oh, yeah. I
phones,
can see
their
that.
like
Yeah.
basically their tech perspective, right? And they're putting it in Apple TV. But the way that they're producing things is they're not greenlighting everything that comes their way like Netflix. They're saying like,
They're
oh,
being
this project,
smart.
this project,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's a small streaming service.
yeah. I watched The Greatest Beer Run with Zac Efron.
Yeah.
He
It's
goes
good.
to Vietnam.
It's good.
The production of that movie, I thought it was going to be cheap because I didn't think it was a
Apple TV,
bigger
yeah.
budget movie, but that's a huge budget.
It wasn't
Looking
in
at
theaters?
No,
No.
it was
No.
Apple TV.
No,
only.
it did.
I've seen
It
clips
did.
of it,
It did come out on theaters.
Limited
like
run.
a limited
it was
run.
like it was like
Okay.
a weekend you had to watch it.
Yeah, I think it was a limited run, maybe because it was going for some kind of like an award or something.
Yeah.
But I do like it because even in because Jason Segel's talked about it
Yeah.
on like the development of Shrinking,
Uh-huh.
and he goes, it wasn't greenlit until I got Harrison Ford. He goes Harrison Ford was our big name. Like once
they had him thought for the role right then and there.
Yeah, like he goes like once we had Harrison Ford, that's when Apple TV was like, okay, cool, we can push forward because Harrison Ford is that big name.
Yeah.
And I love Harrison Ford in this show.
Okay.
Because Monica didn't get Harrison Ford.
How he acts.
She was
and
like,
stuff?
no, well, she didn't get like the hype. Because I was like, Harrison Ford's amazing. Like I love Harrison Ford.
He's got range. Yeah.
I love Harrison Ford. And then Monica started watching Shrinking, and she goes, is this how he is in everything? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, he steals every scene he's in.
Yeah, he does.
And I'm like,
I've seen clips of Shrinking.
that's Harrison Ford. He steals every scene he's in if he has great material to work with.
I think even Mark Hamill has said it too. He goes, Harrison Ford is such a great person to work with because he takes every scene that he's in.
Yeah,
every
super
movie,
serious.
every movie that he's in, especially with Indiana Jones and as Han Solo, he said that like he takes it very seriously, but at the same time, it's like it's just acting. He goes, this is what I do.
I thought it was there was a thing that Siegel was saying where he goes, he showed up in a full body like jumpsuit.
Yeah,
and he goes, I came in, I was gonna change as soon as I got to my trailer, and then I pulled up, and guess who's standing outside my trailer? Wanting to run lines. Han Solo is standing outside my trailer, and I'm in this goofy tracksuit, and he's just like, you really wearing that, kid? And then he's just like, and then he goes, well, it's comfy, you know, it's really comfortable. And he goes, And then they go inside. Yeah, the fun, he goes, and then everybody's like, oh yeah, that's Harrison Ford. He goes, Jason Segel then goes, I came the next day. And who went out and bought the exact tracksuit and is standing outside my trailer going, you're right, kid. It's comfortable.
So I think it was you that mentioned it, that Harrison Ford has like great interviews because he's past the point in age where he just doesn't give a crap.
care.
No.
And so he'll call out anyone for anything.
Yeah.
It's like that's
magic
fun.
tricks. I like the magic trick video of him.
Oh.
Someone's in his house.
Oh, yeah.
It's David Blaine. And he just goes, get the, he's like, no, he just goes,
after
get out of my house.
Yeah, after the trick's done, get out of my house. So, like,
Super serious. Deadpan.
yeah. And his daughter's there. Just you hear his daughter in the background just laughing. He's like, "Get out of my house."
Harrison Ford has such great range in Shrinking, and he steals every scene, and he's so hilarious.
Yeah.
That, oh my god, it's so good. And then they also go with it too of like, Harrison Ford, he.
No, he could.
No, because he gets like this really hot doctor that he's dating.
Yeah.
And then she was like, you hitting that? And then he's like, oh, I'm not hitting anything. And then the girl walks by and she goes, he is.
Yeah. He's still a good-looking dude, even for his age.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's great.
No, but what's his name? Brett Goldstein as Hagrid.
I think
he's
good.
good.
He's gonna kill it.
That's
He's
gonna be
gonna-
good. That's
They-
gonna be good.
so-
Mark Strong.
Mark Strong.
Mark
That's the other
Strong
one.
is also being eyed to play Dumbledore for the Harry Potter.
They
TV
also,
show.
I saw that they also,
These are all speculations.
yeah,
though.
I saw that they were also eyeing somebody for Snape as well.
I think he
he
should
was
be
in-
Snape.
he was
that's
in-
gonna be
no,
a hard
Mark
Because
Strong should
cast.
be
It was
Snape.
an African American
Snape.
actor.
Oh,
There's a black actor, yeah.
Yeah, it was an African American actor. I saw that they were eyeing for Snape. I forgot what he was from, but I'm interested in seeing it.
So
I'm hoping with this like long form version of Harry Potter, you can hit a lot more things.
So
is the storytelling going to be a book for
A
each
book
season?
per season.
That's interesting. Okay.
So I have a buddy who's a hardcore Harry Potter fan. We're talking about this because we both played Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out if Hogwarts Legacy is canonical to the current movie set, and it
Yes.
technically kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I've been hearing is that Max is making this more in line with the books.
Yes.
And it's going to allow for an expansion of the universe. So any video games or future books or future like adaptations of the series is going to be canonical to this.
Yeah.
So are the movies that we've seen being retconned then?
No,
Technically?
it's its own thing.
It's their own thing.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they
like,
happened.
if
I mean,
anything,
it's not like you
the
can't
Harry
ignore
Potter
it.
Movies are like there, but if they're making the TV show and
Well,
everything else is going to
It's just a
connected,
reimagining.
It's just
Yeah.
these are just reimaginings, and
It's the same thing with like Lord of the Rings and Power of Rings.
Yeah,
it's
it-
not.
We don't.
It's not. Well, that's the thing. It's like it's not
Yeah.
connected to the movies. Lord of the Rings, at least.
But for this new Harry Potter series, it's going to be interesting because you're not limited to 2 hours. So you can spend a lot more time with them. You can leave a lot more Easter eggs. So this new generation can have maybe a deeper understanding or a deeper like thing, especially because the only thing that we're not going to get is it's going to be hard. It's going to be kind of spoiled for us. The whole Dumbledore reveal, the whole Snape reveal, the whole, like, there's a lot of reveals that
they could go a different route if they wanted to, but you said they're
going to stay closer
to the books, so it's going to be interesting. Another thought I had right now actually was that who they should cast as Mr. Weasley, because he needs work, and it's just cast Rupert Grant as
Ron.
he
doesn't need work.
Yeah, just as Mr. Weasley.
No, but he doesn't need work.
Wait, who's Rupert Grant again?
Ron. Oh, he's in legal trouble right now.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's like tax evasion. He
is
owes
it-
millions of dollars in tax evasion. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's the thing is I don't think they'll cast the original group of kids to be in this, but they'll probably make cameos.
It's because they're too distracting.
You just see the back of their heads.
I can see
Hermione playing as Professor McGonagall.
No, that would be actually a really good one.
Yeah.
But I feel like McGonagall needs to be a little older though. That's the only thing. I can see like him being Ollivander.
Oh yeah,
Like because
just
Ollivander,
a quick little.
because he gives him the wand and everything, and then like Ollivander doesn't show up until like book 4.
Yeah.
Like you don't really see a whole lot of
And then
Ollivander.
then like towards the end of or the beginning of Deathly Hallows when they're in the little that little light. It's not a lighthouse, but like something like that when they run into him again. Yeah.
But that's what I mean though. Is that like a little
Just
tiny
a couple of cameos.
Yeah, like a little tiny role. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah. I guess I have to see a trailer to see how the show will be.
I'm hopeful for it.
Yeah.
I think like they really have to try hard to mess this one up. Like I think everything's laid out pretty well.
Yeah.
And Warner Brothers is known for doing good productions when it comes to set design, so I won't doubt.
I mean, the Potterheads are gonna watch it.
Yeah.
No matter what.
That's why every Potterhead that was just like, oh, I'm not gonna watch this because the movies are close to my heart. It's like you're still gonna watch it.
You're gonna watch it.
Anything Harry Potter, like you'll watch.
But my thing is that there is nothing that stops you from loving those original movies.
Yeah.
And then you going to watch these with like a new batch of kids and going, okay, cool. Like I
would have
rewatch
liked more of like an expansion of after Harry Potter.
Well,
the cursed child.
Yeah.
Not that, but not directly. not directly. Like just connected to Harry and all them. Just us within the world.
Just more
after.
I
actually had an idea in my head of like following a former Death Eater.
That'd be kind of
and then just like he comes back and then just there's like whispers of like we can bring Voldemort back, but it's like always like a back.
So that's the thing is that legacy actually expands on the world. Like the in Africa, there's a school of wizardry that's hidden in the mountains, and only certain people can go in and see it. And it's briefly mentioned, so the world's expanding. My biggest issue was that J.K. Rowling just didn't know how to expand her universe and only did it because when
she also doesn't know how to shut up.
She doesn't know how to shut up. And that's the problem is that when she was trying to expand the American wizarding world, she went full racist. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that. Like,
that's what she thought America was.
The Native
she was
Americans?
Like, no, because
black magic.
Hold on.
No.
Also, well, wait.
No, legitimately. That's
that is what she was. That's what she went for. Is she was like
the Native Americans giving black magic?
Yeah, they were using black magic, and then I mean.
I think it was just out of ignorance. She didn't really know.
Yeah.
No, she just labeled easy.
No, she just
why label it? Like it's just magic. Like
exactly.
I feel like she does it too, like out of spite.
Native Americans, black magic.
I don't know. I think you know what would be great if J.K. Rowling's talked about Harry Potter. Right. Just shut up about the real world.
Yeah.
And if you want to leave a tweet every so often of going like, do you know that Hogwarts smells like muffins? That sounds great. Good job. Thanks, JK. Okay, that's a good tweet. Not, do you know that all of the Muggles hate black people? And it's like, oh, why? Why? It's like,
let me fix this real quick. Hermione Granger was black all along. In the book, it's literally she had white skin.
I was like, JK, shut up. Like, I don't want to hear this. You're messing this up for me. Stop.
Can you imagine their publicists working? And every time they had to like, they're just on the computer. Oh, what a wonderful day! Boop boop. Oh, JK tweeted.
That's a really good skit. It's a really good skit. It's a really good skit idea. I'm just like, ding.
Oh.
Shut up!
Damn it!
Remember what Kevin Smith said?
Yeah.
Don't talk about it on the podcast.
But that's so funny because I can only imagine like them going, Warner Brothers going, all right, cool, we're gonna make this brand new TV show. Is J.K. Rowling's being involved? Who?
Huh?
Oh no! Yeah, Warner Brothers said that they're going to be using. Again, doesn't make any sense. We're not going to be associated with her, but we're going to respect her wishes.
No, because from what I've been hearing, she gave a lot of notes for the original movies. Like she gave a lot of backstory, she gave a lot of notes, she gave a lot of this is like because a lot of the actors were asking, so she would go, oh cool, so this is a full family tree, or this is this character, or oh, they know this because of X, Y, and Z. They know this because of that. So she gave them a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I mean, I think in Sorcerer's Stone, she revealed to Alan Rickman the Snape reveal.
Yeah.
Oh.
In Sorcerer's Stone.
Let's be in that fly in that room. What?
Well,
I was behind it the whole time.
So, but that's the but I like
Wasn't it chamber?
Huh?
It wasn't in
JK.
chamber because Sorcerer's Stone. She had only gotten up to.
She had already she was
Goblet. She hadn't written.
No, because Alan Rickman had gotten the job, and then he goes, "I'm unsure of how to play this character," and then she goes, There's a thing about Sape that's gonna happen later on," and then he goes, "Well, can I hear what it is?" And she goes, "I'm only telling you. You're the only person that I'm telling this to." And then she then told him about Snape's reveal. And that's why from Sorcerer's Stone all the way through, you have that through line from the performance of Alan Rickman. And that's why it works so perfect, because he knew. And so whenever he was playing a scene with Harry Potter, with, protecting him, doing anything else, he knew that through line.
Yeah, he gave him looks. Every time Harry would be
It's
up
those
to no
little-
good, or he would catch him in the act of something,
It's those little tiny
Alan
ticks.
Rickman gave him these looks of like, what are you doing? Or like kind of like,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'm doing this for your own good, you know that.
Yeah, I'm not against you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I just didn't like your father. Your father was a swine.
It's a really good scene, though.
Yeah.
It's such a good scene. Like, how do I love you and hate you at the same time?
All right. What's the next bit?
Next, rejoice, my fellow zombie fan people. The poster for 28 years later, starring Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Ralph Fiennes has been released. And at the very bottom, it said, "Time didn't heal anything."
So my thing with 28 years later is, again, I don't want you to advertise it until you release 28 days later somewhere. I can't watch it. Why am I able to watch 28 weeks but not 28 days?
Blu-ray.
Licensing, probably.
Okay.
It might be something in music that was used in the show in the movie.
Then figure it out.
I have
Dude.
a-
Music licenses is the worst thing
You
to
have a
deal
Blu-ray?
with.
I have a Blu-ray.
Can I borrow it?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, I have both.
Yeah, it's good. And hold on to 28 days, because apparently 28 days on Blu-ray is going for like hundreds of bucks.
Is it
Really?
really?
Yeah,
It's
because
just sitting collecting dust in my little
it's
armoire.
because it's
Do you
not
have
being
Hero
printed.
on Blu-ray?
Huh?
Do you have Hero on Blu-ray?
Here, like the show?
No, the movie Hero with Jet Li. Because that one, I only find the very old grainy quality, and I can't watch it because
I don't know.
on
I gotta-
streaming. It
I
can be
I have a lot.
Look up
I have a lot
28
of.
days later on.
I have a
on
lot of.
eBay.
I have a lot of movies that like me and Justin for a while were just buying movies.
Just, yeah.
So 28 days is out of print. It's not being printed anymore. It's not on streaming.
So what me and Justin used to do is we used to go to the old Fry's before it turned into the Ballot Center, and they would always put DVDs on sale.
Yeah.
And they would do like, get
Lavelle's
4.
up here does that too.
Yeah, and it was like, get 4 DVDs for the price of 2 or anything else. So we would just go, okay, cool. We would just start buying DVDs and building a collection.
That's how I got it. Yeah.
And that's so we probably picked it up then. I don't know. That's why we have those. You've been in the garage with the 2 armoires that have just packed full
Just
of
a bunch
books.
of DVDs.
I mean, packed full of DVDs.
For 28 days later,
Yeah,
I'm finding it for like
$5.
the dual copy Blu-ray $45. 28 days later DVD 2003 $15.
Really?
Blu-ray
Yeah,
is going for
something-
$44.99.
I thought it was more
on
expensive.
No.
No,
That's
Unless
why
they
when you
price jacked it
that's-
during that 1 month I checked it out.
I don't
Probably.
know. They might have just. It might have been right when they announced it. So
Hold on, let's see. Usually, if that's the case, that means it's available to stream somewhere.
Yeah.
So let's see. Hold
I
on.
didn't see anywhere streaming.
But I'm interested in it. I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. Once again, I think that Craven movie is gonna suck, but I think Aaron Taylor Johnson's gonna act his ass off.
He's gonna save that movie.
I don't think he's gonna
it's
save it.
Produced by the same guy that did, or same people that did 28 Days. It's the same.
Craven?
No, the new 28 Years
Oh,
Later.
no. I know that 28 years is going to be good. I'm just saying in general. Like,
So they're saying.
Oh, you're talking about Craven.
Really,
yeah, I'm just saying, like, I already know that Craven's going to suck.
Really quick, it says right here, the reason why 28 Days Later is not streaming. 28 Days Later is no longer available on streaming sites because Disney lost the rights to the original film to Sony.
Oh.
Disney now owns the rights to the sequel, 28 Weeks Later, which is financed by Searchlight, which they own Fox.
So Sony is holding
Holding it against, like,
That's
holding it hostage.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
These
that makes
petty companies,
that
man.
actually,
I swear
but
to
that
God,
but
we
that kind of
suffer.
makes sense because back in the early 2000s, what they would do is a company they would make it and then another company would distribute it.
Yeah.
So they would get distribution rights.
You know what? Out of solidarity, we're not watching Craven.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Hit him where it hurts, guys.
Oh yeah. That was the squeaky wheel.
That's good.
That was why.
That's
down,
the
dude.
turning point in
That's
this
it.
war.
Yeah. You know what?
Now the one in the chamber goes to them.
No, sorry, buddy. You took us to go see Morbius. You gotta.
I know.
You
have to endure the
You have to
last
endure this with
Sony
us.
Spider-Man movie.
yeah.
For all we know, it could be good.
I don't want to think it's good.
For all we know, it
I'm
could
not.
be.
It's if I come out liking this, shoot me
Okay.
like on the spot.
I already got
All
you.
right,
with the
we'll bring
bullet. If
the
he
gun.
did good in Bullet Train, he's gonna do great in this movie, and
No,
it might be
I-
good enough.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Which
The
is a
Bullet
Sony
Train,
movie, though.
huh?
Isn't Bullet Train a Sony movie?
Yeah,
Yes,
but
it
Bullet
is.
Train, we had no expectations.
No, but also,
Honestly, true. I didn't know what to expect.
Exactly.
It's so weird that this movie has Russell Crowe and Aaron Taylor Johnson,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, man, I'm so disinterested.
I know. I don't think
Pop an
Russell
edible.
Crowe's going to do a good
Huh?
job in this
Pop
movie.
an edible.
That might
drive.
be.
I'll drive the
That
three
might
of
be.
us, and you guys can all pop an edible, and I'll just be there chilling, enjoying it.
For
and-
Craven?
Yeah.
Yeah. Might as well have a good time out of it
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. Or we
I
can,
mean, let's not repeat Madam Web.
yeah, Madam Web was rough.
I
I
was
watched,
rough.
I watched that.
Lord.
Liberated.
My
It was
guts.
okay.
hurt.
No, I'd much
No.
rather watch Craven normal. So
I
that
think-
way I can have
I-
good, valid
I-
reasons to hate
Don't
it.
worry, Andy. He's gonna be fine.
Don't come back.
Oh God.
I can't do this anymore. I can't.
In sequel
Jumps out of
news,
the building.
pretty exciting. Fallout Season 2 is now filming. Walter
yeah.
Goggins posted a
He's
few
going
days
back
ago.
into makeup.
It
Yeah.
feels good to slip back into the skin. I do this, blank,
Yeah.
for the love of the game.
Still haven't watched it.
Love
You
it.
still haven't seen Fallout?
So I haven't seen Fallout. No.
It's all out now. You can stream it out.
I could.
You
Just let him watch it when he wants. He's not gonna. If we
One-
force him, he's never gonna watch it.
The one thing that I'm expecting and I hope from Season 2 is going to be those little black things that fly in New Vegas, the Cazadors, or
Oh
how
wow.
do you-
Okay.
how do you
Yeah.
call them?
That.
I know. He's just like those little
the-
black things. I'm like,
The
okay,
little
finish
black
your words.
bugs that
You mean
fly
the
around.
fly-looking ones?
Not the bloat flies, the Cazadors, the ones that like sting you and you feel woozy.
Oh,
I hated those things.
Like
They're
the
so-
wasp-looking things.
They're so aggressive. Their patterns were hard to track, and they just take up all my stems. And then there's I want to see what they do
Rad
and how they
scorps.
make them look.
Oh, rad scorpions.
An albino rad scorpion.
I'm just interested in the season 2. Season 1 was awesome. I just want season.
I don't
2.
care about the Fallout stuff. Just give me season 2.
No, but I want to. I love seeing Walter Goggins in anything.
Yeah.
Walter Goggins is
Yeah.
is
He's an underrated
Vice
actor.
Principals. I want to watch that one.
I
I like that scene. where he's
100%.
tearing the
If you take out Walter Goggins of
house down.
the Fallout show, it's not as good as.
He can't die. I don't think. One of the Twitter accounts I follow asked a good question. It's like, how long do you think Fallout would last on TV? And I said 3 seasons. I think Fallout's
I
a
would be
3-season
fine
show.
with that. I would be fine with
Yeah.
that. I don't want a show to get like run into the ground. You know, just it lives longer than it should have.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to speaking of shows that end and like a very satisfying. Superman and Lois just ended.
Oh,
Yeah.
And that was the end of the Arrowverse, official end of the Arrow. That
I
was the
kind of want
last
to watch
show.
Superman and Lois.
I know.
It's the-
I did-
it's the-
I
I
do
need to
too.
watch it.
It's the official end of
It's
the.
all on Max.
Yeah, it's all on Max. I watched like the first season and then I watched the ending because I missed that. I missed like 3 episodes and then it just became too much to watch and I didn't get back into it. But it was good when I was watching it.
I did watch like the first 5 episodes, and from what I've watched, it was really
Yeah,
good.
but-
and then from other clips throughout the progression of the
It's good.
show, It looks really good.
Is it just supposed to be like a Smallville kind of thing? Or
No.
is it like a...
No, it's
No.
more. It's like Smallville but expanded. It's what
Yeah.
Smallville could have been.
So is this
It's-
just the story of Superman while being with Lois
So
Lane?
the whole premise is that Clark and Lois have decided that they want to raise their kids.
His mom dies.
Yes.
And they get the farm.
They get the farm. They have the Kent farm, and they decide we're gonna live in Smallville, but we're gonna still do our things. You know, Lois is still kind of
She's no longer reporting for the Daily Planet.
Yeah.
She's becoming more of like a freelancer. They have 2 sons, and their sons are in high school now. So you're dealing. And
Do they have Kryptonian powers?
not at first?
Not at first, but over time they build it. But it's great because they go into the science of it, of like how the Kryptonian DNA and the
Is
human
mixing
DNA,
with the human
it
DNA.
mixes, so they have a different.
Same.
They're not exactly like
Yes.
So they can't
Clark.
fly. It's Superboy kind of thing.
No,
right?
they can still
They
fly.
can fly,
Oh, okay.
but the way that their body
adapting.
retains the yellow
Yellow sun?
radiation,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it
different.
affects their human DNA as well too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like also the chemistry between the 2 sons is really great too, because like you have the older brother he's the football star, he's number 1 in all of his classes, and then you kind of have like you have the younger brother who's kind of a mess up, and then the superstar. Both boys don't know that dad is Superman in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Of the series. They don't
I
find
still
out.
think he's like lame dad.
Yeah, they think he's just a lame
Yeah.
dad, and
Yeah.
they end up finding out that he's Superman. I think like a car
Like he
explodes.
takes off
Yeah.
his glasses and they're like, "Oh my god, you're Superman!"
Oh no,
No.
they did that with they did that with Lois's dad.
Yeah.
He has the glasses on and he's all like, "Well, how do you know Superman? You know, like does he come?"
And then he just like-
so he's like, he's from Smallville, and then he just goes like this. Well, he goes, "Oh my god, you're Superman!" And he's just like, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh my god."
So
but-
for the boys though, there was a fire that the boys were caught in.
Yeah.
And then a car exploded, and then he's like running towards them like normally, and then as the car is exploding, he slows down time, and then rushes over to them, grabs the boys, and then rushes back, and then like you see like the flame hit his back, and he's protecting the kids, and then they're like, "Dad, how did you do that?" And then like they look at his back, and it's not even scorched, like it's just burned clothes, and then he tells them I'm Superman, and they're like, "You're not Superman," and then he picks up a truck. And they're like, "Oh my god, you're Superman!"
Oh my god.
But it's really good, and I love the. Have you seen the way it ends?
No, but I've heard that
actually
it's...
beautiful.
Spoil it.
It's a
Don't spoil
beautiful
it.
ending.
It
It is a
really is.
beautiful ending.
I mean, it's already out there, so...
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
can
no, I
spoil
mean,
it,
I watched
yeah.
it online, so I
Yeah.
didn't watch the show, but I watched the ending. and
He
it
was fighting Abomination. Or not
Th-
Abomination.
but that's not how it ends, though.
No.
The
But
the way it
there's
ends
like
is
multiple fight scenes that he
Yeah.
has at the end of this episode. He fights Doomsday. He fights Luthor.
they
and
even
then-
but they do this really beautiful thing in the last season where Superman loses his powers, and now he's going. My sons have powers. I need to train them to become the next Superman. And then he's even talking to Jor-El and his mom, and they're going, they will never be what you are. They're not full Kryptonian. So they'll never be as strong. They'll never be as fast. They'll never be you're Superman. And they're like, and as the generations go on, the bloodline is going to thin and thin and thin and thin, and they'll become
Yeah, so
weaker
not
and
every
weaker.
single not every single person's going to be able to have.
So how
Kryptonian
does it end?
powers.
It-
It ends
Old
well,
age.
Yeah, Clark does pass away, but he kind of goes to this like you know when your life flashes before your eyes. He's kind of saying goodbye to everyone in the house. He says goodbye to Lois, and then the one beautiful thing he forgives Luthor.
Lex.
Yeah, Lex Luthor.
In this universe, is there any other Justice League members or no? Do they ever mention...
They
No.
have Steel. Steel's in here.
Steel is there.
Yeah.
It's technically inside of the Arrowverse, but it because everything else was ending, they made this very isolated.
Yeah.
Of just
It's
going,
very
it's just about
pocketed, yeah.
Superman and Smallville.
They never even mentioned Supergirl a lot.
No, I think they
or
mentioned
a
her maybe
Batman or
like
anything
once or
that?
twice. No,
Gotham,
but no, but
Central City.
and that's okay though, because it's just a Superman story,
which is,
and he's going all over the world. Like it's not just Superman is. Like he gets in trouble with the U.S. government at one point because he saves a Chinese sub, and then he goes, "Oh, why did you save the Chinese sub?" And he goes, "They were in danger, and it's a nuclear sub. I wanted to save the people." And then he goes, "You couldn't have at least dropped it off in U.S. territory. You had to take it back to China." And he goes, "I don't work for you. I'm Superman. I can do whatever I want. And they were like, listen, we only allow you to do what you do because it benefits us. And then he goes, you allow? It's like a cool moment between Superman and a general, and just going like, you don't allow me to do anything.
There's a really good scene I saw on TikTok where Clark is trying to talk to this guy, this drunk, which is basically one of his son. It's Clark's son gets involved with this girl and gets in trouble because the girl is claiming stuff happened, and everyone knows it's bullcrap. So Clark goes to the I guess like the restaurant,
but it was the dad.
Yeah, it was
the dad. The dad who did it. The dad did it to the girl.
Yes. So then he goes up to him, and then he's like being aggressive, and Clark's still trying to put up this persona of like, I'm human, like I'm just here to squash this because this had to involve with my son. I want you to stay away from my son, but he's being aggressive and he's like threatening him, and it's so good because you see like the restraint that Clark has to hold.
He even punches him in the face.
Yeah, and you could tell nothing's happening, like, but he still has to kind of like.
Pretend.
But then he just kind of walks out. And there's even a scene too where someone thinks it's later in this series. There's a scene where people think that he is Superman and go above and beyond to try to like shoot at him to see if anything will happen and stuff. And then there's like a moment where he slows everything down. The bullet's coming to him, and Clark is like,
"What do I do?
What do I do? Do I let this happen or do I move? I still have to explain how this is happening." And then he just lets the bullet hit him.
It's cool too because the final couple of seasons he gets outed. Clark Kent is Superman, and then he realizes I didn't need the secret identity. I actually was more because he goes, I can now use the identity of Clark Kent and Superman in tandem, and it's a lot more effective, and people can see that I'm human just like them. I live just like they do, and I age just like they do.
It's a really good Superman story.
The one of the final shots is Superman flying up, and then you see his two sons. Cool. And they're flying up right behind him in their super suits, and then you see Steel, and I think it was like Mecha Superman, I think it was.
Like
Cyborg Superman, and they end up flying right behind him, and it's like, I realize that I'm not doing this alone, that I have a family. Like I came to
super family.
Yeah,
how many seasons is it?
It's
four.
Yeah,
four seasons.
But it's so interesting where he goes, I came to this planet alone, and I'm leaving it fulfilled and with family around me. And it's literally him as in bed as an old man. His two sons are holding his hand, and he goes, the second time I died was the best.
That's dope.
Yeah, and it was
so good. The writing, perfect.
Yeah, the writing and the ending, it's so good. And then you have both the sons, and they're like hugging each other, and they're holding his hand, and they're older, and they're by their father's side, and their kids are downstairs. His grandpa passes away, and like you can see both of them, they're crying. And then as he dies, he sees everybody in heaven. So he sees like Lex Luthor, and he hugs him. And he sees like Jimmy Olsen and everybody else, and
the last person he sees is Lois.
And then he sees Lois, and he goes, and it's just like the first time I've ever seen her. And he goes, now we both get to live eternity together.
That's cool.
And they both sit on the porch of the Kent farm, and that's how it ends.
Yeah.
No mom or dad?
Huh? No, but also they weren't really characters in the show because both of them are already dead by the time the show started. So but it's a great ending. Superman and Lois, good show.
Oh, well, I'll give it a watch. Is there any other major?
Honestly, after that, I think
we could just talk about Rivals.
Let's talk about Rivals.
Go on Rivals.
So that brings us to the end of comic strips. Let's jump into our first main topic of Marvel Rivals. So this game just came out last week, has been in beta for the last couple of months. It's honestly kind of interesting, and the only reason we're bringing it up because I know our audiences don't really care about video games. But
we know you guys are like automatically going, oh my god.
Look, man,
talk about the nerdy stuff.
It is nerdy stuff.
Video games.
Can Nick piss off Bryan already?
Right?
We're an hour in, and Bryan hasn't gotten mad.
That's not the point. He can't because I won first place in Marvel Snap, so there's really nothing.
You haven't won yet.
Last week I did.
Oh, whatever. That was last week. I'm talking
Yeah,
about this week.
We moved on.
No, it's funny because we talked about it on Thursday. He comes in.
I just wasn't playing. I didn't play. That's it.
I figured that, but we know the joke that we did where in the recent issue that we just did last week, where you pump yourself up in the morning, you spit in the mirror, and you're like, yeah, you gotta do it. And then,
Oh no, I saw how high it was today, and I immediately went, "That's my weekend. This is what I'm doing all weekend." So I'm catching up.
so then we go like, what if it's like not the opposite, but still the same thing? If you lost, be like, you're nothing. You didn't do what you needed to do.
You let Bryan win.
You let Bryan win.
I didn't even let you win though. That's the worst part. I literally was like, I'm fine, and then I checked the next day and I went,
Did you grind all night? for
No,
that?
it's because I'm
Yeah,
not
you
doing
did.
anything
Oh,
at
that's
work.
right, yeah.
I'm legitimately until like
yeah, I have work to do.
Yeah, he does. I didn't. I was just like, okay, what am I supposed to do?
I was actually
Marvel
at
Snap.
work.
Marvel Snap?
I'll take advantage of it. It's fine.
Right. You know what I'm finding really funny now that I'm looking at the news clips from Marvel's rivals? Everyone seems to be bashing the game, and it's all for the same reason that they're saying.
Yeah,
Overwatch.
it's
An
an
Overwatch
Overwatch
clone.
That's
So,
that's exactly what it was marketed
put
as
it this
though.
way.
What's funny is like they're saying it's a bad hero shooter from all these publishers, and these are the same publishers that were writing the Dick of Concord so hard,
Yeah.
saying this is a great game. This game is going to be amazing. We've played it. And then for a game that just came out that didn't get canceled before it even came out, it wasn't dead on arrival like Concord, and
Now
they're
they-
just bashing it.
So there's my conspiracy time.
It's
Here we
not
go.
a conspiracy. It's
No.
the truth.
Conspiracy time. It's because it has a Marvel label on it.
No, it's because it's not pushing DEI.
No, it's a Marvel label because you got to think of it this way. If your biggest complaint about this game is that it's a copy of Overwatch, then every other RTS is a copy of
Exactly.
StarCraft.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Here's my thing. Overwatch was good when it first came out.
Yes.
It was very
Overwatch
good.
won.
It was revolutionary. It was fast paced, but then they started falling into the trap of microtransactions.
Yeah. Blizzard
And
got greedy.
They got
just
greedy,
too greedy.
and they fell into that trap, and then they didn't do anything innovative in the game. They didn't put out any like really cool
They got lazy.
characters.
They
They
just
got
got
really
really
lazy. They stood on their laurels.
Yeah.
And then Overwatch 2 comes out,
Oof. The worst
and
backpedal ever.
and it's super hard backpedaling. It's a lot of like, oh, we're going back to formula, and and it doesn't
Story.
work.
We're introducing
Guys,
a
we're gonna do
story
a
mode for you
PvE
guys.
And, yeah, and it doesn't and it didn't really work.
Yeah,
but
we're actually cutting that. Sorry, guys,
Yeah,
and
but-
you're not getting your
But
money
that,
back.
but
if you
that doesn't
paid
make
for
any
the
sense
game.
though. If you were to go, oh, this is just an Overwatch clone. Okay, so Call of Duty is a Battlefield clone. What do you want?
Yeah.
Like it's like okay.
Warzone is a copy of Fortnite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Warzone is a copy of Fortnite. Like everything's a copy of something.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
another game. Wasn't there another game that
This
was
is
a
just being
copy
done
of
better.
Fortnite and Overwatch?
Yeah.
That
Every
was-
other battle royale that's
No,
out
but
there.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's so funny that's the biggest critique in the game. Like, oh,
Stumble
freaking-
Guys
yeah.
is a copy of Fall Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but people still love it. I feel like this is just unnecessary hate because it's a good game. It's not pushing their ideas, what they like, and it's clear, it's visible. Because IGN doesn't even have a thing posted yet. DualShock, you have Games Radar, the Gamer, Games Radar Plus. All of these people just bashing.
I
That's the thing, like- yeah,
I
go
think the studio did something smart, and what they did was they didn't put microtransactions in it. They made a game that was fun and engaging, and they kind of went what was fun and engaging in Overwatch, and then they go, okay, cool, let's do that, and then they went, instead of you paying to win, what we're gonna do in this free to play in this free game is the skins you can just earn by playing it. Let's just have everybody play the game.
So
And then if you and then we'll have like special skins that you can spend like $20 on. Like those skins and those are like just like limited time skins or anything else. But I do also love the fact that they have battle passes that never go away. I love that, where it's like, oh cool, we're gonna have this battle pass, everything else,
it's
and
a
then
one-time payment. Comes back.
it's a one, but you don't even have to buy it.
Yeah.
You can literally let it sit there and then go, I kind of want that battle pass. Like now that I'm looking at it and everything else, I want to go back. Like, and you can be 3 battle passes in, and then go. I'm gonna go buy that battle pass, and I'm gonna unlock it, and then you can work through it.
Okay.
And their market, they already said we're not taking anything off the market. We're not like nothing's gonna be limited time.
Rotations.
Yeah, all we're doing is we're just gonna be adding content to this.
Yeah.
So
Balance is
Yeah.
like the main thing right now.
So when Sean and I were playing it, my biggest issue when it comes to hero shooters is that when you play with randos, they're stupid.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people that play
they kill
this,
whore.
I-
They just kill
they,
whore.
they,
I want
they
kills,
don't
I want
understand the
kills.
point of a hero shooter.
I like to think my theory is they're bots.
Probably.
Well, no,
'cause-
they're coming from a college. Yeah, they're
They
bots.
act- they
They're
act-
coming from a Call of Duty background. No, honestly, because like, so we were playing and we were noticing that a lot of different characters played similar to Overwatch heroes. Like
Yeah.
Star-Lord was basically Tracer.
a little tracer, but very flying. The flying.
The flying,
aspect
yeah.
was crazy. Cool.
You have Punisher, who's just Soldier 76. You have
Bucky is Doomfist.
Doom-
He's a really cool Doomfist.
Yeah.
I
No,
was
but-
loving the combos.
Well, no, so the way you guys are talking about it, that's the thing, is that Overwatch kind of set up everything.
Yeah.
If you
It
think
did.
about
Yeah.
it, it's
It's
a
the
hero.
foundation.
But-
It's a heroes and villains character-based game.
But
That's the
here's
thing.
my biggest complaint
Yeah.
with Overwatch is that the reason no one played support, and for those that don't know, support is basically like a healer or someone
Yeah.
that basically backs up the
You can
attackers.
boost your players
Exactly.
or your team.
Overwatch-
Yeah, you're helping your
Important.
team.
Yeah.
Support is the most important for
So
any kind of
no one,
composition game like
no
that.
one played support because your supports could not damage any of the opposition,
You were just a squishy that was in the back line, just
Exactly.
going heal.
and that
heal."
was it.
No.
So
And then
your biggest,
if everybody died, you were like, I'm gonna die.
retreat.
in any sort of like team-based game, I've always played the support of anything. In Overwatch, I was no, that wasn't Mercy. I never liked
Lucio.
Mercy. Lucia, and
Okay.
then I was always the monk dude that throws his
Zenyatta.
orbs.
See,
Zenyatta
but that
is
was the
great.
problem was that monk dude that you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? He could attack, he could deal damage,
Yeah.
but his supporting healing abilities were kind of lame. They
Yeah,
didn't really
right,
do much, right? Unless you
Yeah.
ulted. So out of every support character that Sean and I tried, the main ones were Cloak and Dagger,
Cloak and
Jeff,
Dagger, and
Jeff, and I call him the Jeffster. And who was the other one that we tried?
Those are the only two that I'm aware of that could heal.
Oh,
people.
apparently Mantis and Rocket are also good support.
Oh.
But Jeffster and Cloak and Dagger, they can deal damage, and
Yeah.
they deal pretty good damage. And not only that, but
First
Jeff's...
game we played, I ended up getting MVP with Jeff.
Yeah,
as a
somehow
support.
he ended up getting
Yeah.
MVP.
Wow,
It
that's
I
was
went
like, what the heck?
27 and like 7.
Something ridiculous.
And, like,
Is Jeff
like
a little
10
thing?
assists.
He's a little short.
He's just a little. No, but is he small? In
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
small.
Okay.
He's super small, but the cool thing about Jeff is that the way he plays support, he's very squishy. He's only got like 250
Yeah.
hit points, right?
Okay.
But the cool thing about Jeff is that you could go into the action, leave bubbles to heal, back out, and then heal from a distance. And then if you need to like
Oh.
attack,
Yeah.
he's got a little spout that like shoots little bubbles
It's
at
the same
opponents.
rhythm as May's secondary fire. Instead of her just freezing people, it's the ice shard. So it's like boom,
Yeah.
boom,
And I think
boom, and they deal a lot of damage. And the bubbles actually burst. The most damage is on contact, but the people around the other one
Yeah.
will be taking damage as well. It's pretty
there's
cool.
also a team mechanic in the
yes.
game.
Yeah. Is there anyone like Diva in the game?
Yes,
Hulk.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Banner, he has some gamma grenades, and when he hulks out, it's permanent. That's his ultimate, but there is no timeout unless his health goes down. Then he goes back into Bruce, and he has a little handgun and just
okay.
some grenades.
Okay.
Yeah. And the focus is a lot on team up, so
Yeah.
you really want to have
Yeah, team
a full
fights.
crew.
It's
Yeah.
like- it's a nice
So
team
like
How many?
Jeff-
How many players on each side?
5.
Okay.
So
it's
like
4
Jeff
of us.
can team up with Emma Frost.
Not Emma Frost.
Or
She's,
some-
she's the new exclusive character
Yeah.
to the game. She's an ice-based character, and Groot.
I think, I do like that. Did you know about the? I don't know if you know about the mechanic of. It's unlike Overwatch, where if you have specific characters or team matchups
Yeah.
or team comps, you can then combine the characters together, and then they can do certain things.
If you have Rocket and Bucky together, and Rocket uses his thing, Bucky will have infinite ammo.
Punisher, not Bucky.
No, it was Bucky. When I was playing Bucky,
Oh.
I did not have to reload.
Oh.
I was just
and then
Is it
I-
like
I was
then?
just
I guess
constantly
is it
shooting.
shooter characters then?
well, no, and then what was it?
Ammo.
If you have Groot and Rocket, Rocket can jump on Groot.
Oh.
So can Jeff.
and so can Jeff.
Oh, that's cool.
So and then Rocket will just hold on to Groot, and then Groot's taking all the damage, and then Rocket just shooting.
shoots. That's cool.
Adam Warlock, Mantis, and Star-Lord can team up, and Adam Warlock can give Mantis and Star-Lord like regenerative abilities, or
Oh, that's
basically
cool.
like ways
So,
to get
but
out.
that's what I
quickly.
mean, though, is that that's an interesting difference between the two games.
Yeah.
Not,
Very distinct.
yeah, it's very distinct difference. But because then that
it's
also
not like
that
Overwatch.
affects team matchups.
Team comp, everything.
Because-
it's just a new, very big thing.
Yeah, because if everybody was, if everybody's picking Guardians characters, I'll pick a Guardians character because that way we can then all team up and we can do more damage and it's more effective. The other thing is you want it to be similar in a way, because if it's too new, it isolates those players that have already been playing Overwatch.
They also have destructible environments in the game, which Overwatch doesn't have, and if you really want to get those tactical peak choke points like taken away, you can break down walls and then people will be able to reach.
I love the fact that there's way more maneuverability in this game. Like
Star-Lord is
Spider-Man's webs, Star-Lord.
Spider-Man's hard to play. He's
Spider.
like a
Well,
5-star difficulty.
it's Spider-Man and Venom. They both have web slinging. Moon Knight has his gliding, so you can like glide through the map with his moon cape.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, though, is that in Overwatch you don't have that maneuverability. It's very slow.
Yeah.
Like, okay, everybody's got to
Move over.
You can't go everywhere.
Yeah, it's not the what was it like? You just, because I saw Spider-Man or what was it?
Venom?
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
Oh,
Like just
yeah.
teleport to like the top of something else, and then immediately put down a circle. And then it killed like 3 people.
So that's
and then
kind
he
of
teleported back, and he was like, "All right, I got 2 kills." And I was like, "That's awesome."
So there's this
That's
beauty
so cool.
of Marvel Rivals that we saw, where like Sean and I were constantly communicating between each other, because it was us and like 3 other randos.
Yeah.
And so the entire time we could kind of communicate like the certain things that were happening, similar to Overwatch. But I feel like Overwatch, everyone was kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
I will tell you, there are 2 major things that they need to fix. One are the spawn points. It does take a really long time when you die to go back to the point of interest. The other thing is that the characters in the map design is a little bit funky. So sometimes you go through a door that you think is going to lead you to the objective, and it actually takes you back around. And it's like, well, what was the point of that whole that structure being there? But you have all these interesting characters that have their own unique abilities, and it makes the gameplay change as time progresses. So if you play as Iron Man, you can cover the sky, right? Because he's going to be attacking from above. But if that character or that person switches out of Iron Man and becomes a Black Widow, now you don't have to worry about the skies, but you have to worry about the sniper that's hiding somewhere else. Yeah. Or Iron Fist is a good tank, apparently.
Oh my God, Iron Fist was so annoying. That character is very broken.
Yeah.
I just reminded myself I have to re-download Discord. I got rid of it.
Oh.
I wasn't using it, but I remembered. I'm like, oh yeah, we talk on Discord if we're gonna play games.
Yeah,
so,
and it's super easy. Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's it for. I mean, we'll talk more about it when we
all play
when we
together.
all play.
But
yeah.
I like, so far from what I'm seeing from Marvel Rivals, I think it's good. I also, it's good to have a competitor in the space.
Out of Overwatch.
Overall, because Overwatch was kind of the only one that was really there, like the prominent one. Having a major title like Marvel Rivals kind of puts pressure on the Overwatch creators to go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of hero shooters
Well,
too out
it's
there,
pretty-
but
pretty
none
smart
of them
too.
are good.
none of them are as good as Marvel Rivals or as
Overwatch. Yeah.
It's pretty smart too to be released around this time, around the holidays, where everyone's gonna be home pretty soon for like the next few weeks. So there's a lot of
Everybody's gonna have
possible
some time
gameplay.
off. Yeah, everybody's gonna have some time off. Everybody else,
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
It's good to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would give it a shot. And you know what? Now that you mentioned it, it's funny that no other games reviewer has really talked about it.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. If I see anything below a 5, I'm like, you're trying real hard.
It just got released, so we can't really review it right now.
There's one that actually
Likes
gave it
it?
a 2.5 stars.
Is that Games Radar? Is it Games Radar?
Probably.
Yeah, I think it was Games Radar.
Out of 5, right?
So preoccupied with trying to be like Overwatch that it forgets to play to its own strengths. What exactly are they talking about here?
That's that. It's a copy.
These are
Alrighty, so let's move on to our last topic of the day. I mean, we're going to talk about Skeleton Crew, but the funny thing is, the one person that watched it was not Nicholas.
It wasn't.
The Star Wars fan wasn't
It
watched
wasn't
it.
Brian.
It wasn't me. Wasn't Sean.
No.
From what I hear,
damn straight, it was not.
from
me.
what I hear, it's good. It's Friends.
Yeah, surprisingly.
But
yes.
Rene,
I'll give
tell
my
us why.
I give my little synopsis, not synopsis, but my little thing about it. I didn't necessarily liked the characters right away because it's just kids, and it's that whole like kid mentality of, because I get so annoyed because it's like, oh wait, no, like I don't want you to think of me of this way. I don't know. No, don't call me that. That's not true. It's like that with these characters where they're introduced first.
I kind of wish it was more. From what you're saying,
Yeah.
I wish it was more Goonies.
You know what? And it tries to be like that. It's the constant bickering, but then it turns into the whole like
It doesn't
you're
sound-
boys and then you're girls.
It turns
and
more into
stuff.
whining?
Yeah, it's just whining at this point. But at the end of the second episode, we get the character that the reason why we're watching it is Jude Law.
Okay.
He doesn't show up until the end of the second episode.
They're Jedi.
Yeah,
They're
which is
Jedi.
cool. That's the thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like the premise is actually really interesting. It's about a bunch of kids that find a starship and then boom, they're lost in space.
So when does this take place in?
Oh, this takes place way after like Return of the Jedi and stuff like that.
Before Force Awakens.
I
This-
believe so. Yes. Oh no,
This
because
is-
they said the New Republic. Yeah,
It's during the New Republic.
it's during the New Republic. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Not the old
interesting.
Republic. Yeah, it's during the New Republic.
I
'cause
thought it was-
They kept talking about it, like, oh yeah, the New Republic, and then you find out that the planet that the kids are from is a very secret planet.
Okay.
That's why it's structured and has like a
And, yeah,
suburban looking
that's
thing.
because they start talking about the planet, and they're like, oh well, we're from here. Like, what are you talking about? That planet doesn't exist. That's only in legends. Like, where are you kids from and stuff. So it's interesting. Interesting.
Because I know that they were saying that Jude Law was what I originally thought the time frame was during the Empire's reign, because they keep on saying, because they were like, oh, like Jude Law's a Jedi. Like,
Yeah, he's a former Jedi.
He's a former Jedi and everything. I don't think he's a Jedi.
No, I don't think so, because the way that they show him in the beginning of the episode, I know it's him already, because it's like just they voice modulate and stuff like that. So you know who he is right away, and it's not a secret at the end where it's like, oh, okay, he's there and stuff like that. But it's interesting.
So what would you give it?
Right now, just for 2 episodes,
Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it. I
a
just,
7 or what?
I guess like a 7. Yeah. I don't want to give it an 8 because that means I would have to like the characters, the kids first. I don't like the kids right now.
I'm okay with whiny kids
Well, that's the
that
thing.
grow into, because
That's the thing.
that is kind of how
I'm watching it and I'm like, I already want to get into season 2 already because I'm tired. I don't want to go through this whole like whiny kids and then character development later. I just want to get to that.
Well,
I want to get to Deku in season 3. Like, come on.
no, because that is kind of how I felt
Yeah.
with Percy Jackson.
Oh, okay.
That's how I kind of felt about Percy Jackson. Where when I started watching Percy Jackson, I thought they bickered too much,
The kids.
and it was a little whiny. And I'm like,
And I
okay.
think it's adult when adults write kids like that. I feel like they don't understand it
because that's all they hear is
because
just
that's all
like,
they hear is bickering.
Even though kids could be smart.
They could
Yeah.
be smart. They have the potential to be smart. But then don't make them like Mary Sue's. That's the thing. And they kind of do that with one girl where
She can do everything.
she knows everything. And it's like,
she's the Hermione.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the
She's the
Kathleen
Hermione.
Kennedy self-insert.
yeah,
that's who she is.
It's
and I
the
got
Hermione.
a little mad because there's really quick there's a robot when they go into the starship. He's looking for the captain, and I'm like, don't do it. And she comes up, she goes, I'm the captain, and I'm like,
I knew it.
F me. F me. And I'm like, oh my God. And just, but overall, I mean, you know what's funny is that's the actress that was in It. The one that was terrorizing Mary Beth. And there's like, Mary Beth, you're a whore. And I'm like, I don't like you already. And she showed up in Skeleton Girl. I'm like, I still don't like you. Like, you still have that face. I want to. Like,
Jesus Christ.
Seriously, I don't care, man. Like, it's like, just don't be annoying. But overall, the show is good. The story's interesting. I am gonna keep watching it because I want to see where it goes.
We'll watch it.
Yeah.
But we ended up watching Creature Commandos.
Yes,
That was so much good.
Did
That
you
was
watch
so
Creature
good.
I watched it.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Did you watch it, John, or no? You said I didn't get a
No,
chance to.
I need to renew my
There's-
HBO Max.
There's not
Yeah,
much
I
to
forgot I
spoil.
canceled it.
Oh no, it's fine. I can let you use mine.
I need to finish the Penguin. Not the Penguin, sorry. Batman.
We need to finish the
We need
Batman.
to finish Batman.
I got him halfway through.
Oh,
A little over halfway, and honestly,
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that. It was because we were. It was getting late.
Oh,
and then,
I see.
And then
It's like,
we
get out
had
of my house.
No. It was getting late, and then we paused it for a bathroom break, because
it was like a 2-3 hour conversation. We were
and then
just
and then,
like-
and then we had like a 2 hour conversation where we were just chit chatting, and then and then I looked at the time and I'm like, oh man, it's already midnight, and he goes, yeah, let's finish this movie another day.
Okay.
But he got to the Penguin, the Penguin car chase.
really
Really good. Really good scene, right?
I don't see why people fell asleep. Honestly, the pacing is great.
How did you fall asleep?
I didn't fall asleep.
You said you fell asleep.
No, I didn't fall
No,
asleep.
he's
Oh.
never seen it
Or you
before.
just
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
No, I've heard people fall asleep during
Oh,
it.
okay.
That's because they have no taste. It's fine.
No, I think
the
it's
music is very good though, and
I told you.
And when I was hearing it, I'm like, oh, you know what? You're totally right, because some of the intro, it's very nice.
Yeah.
The overtone of how it looks, the feel of the music, and what's going on, it's so well done.
we were watching it, and Chrissy was there, and she was there right when the movie started, and the only thing I heard was ugh, because when the Riddler shows up right behind the mirror,
Oh yeah.
and then all I heard was her go ugh, and she goes, why is he there?
Did you like the intro where it's Batman is Boogeyman in
Yes.
Gotham? Yeah, right.
Yes.
It's dope.
Love
It's
it.
freaking dope.
It's
He was telling me about the comic year 1. This is year 2 Batman.
Yeah.
Kind of like giving me
There's a
everything.
book.
Yeah, so I do want to read the book.
You can just
I'll
audio.
onboard it.
Yeah, you can audiobook it.
Just
Yeah.
get
I have
Amazon.
Audible.
Do you have Amazon?
I have Audible and I have a few credits.
Okay,
Okay,
there you go.
yeah,
Yeah,
there
you
you
can
go.
find it on
Just listen
Audible.
to it there. And
It's
you're fine.
only like maybe like an hour, 2 hours.
It's an hour 30, I think, is what it
Yeah.
took me. Yeah,
Nice.
it's pretty good.
But
It talks about the Batmobile and why he got that Batmobile.
Dude,
I was
that
telling
Batmobile
him,
is
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, I know.
And he's just a gearhead.
Much better than
Yeah.
the
Oh,
Tumblr.
yeah.
He's kind of like absolute Batman in now
Yeah,
that I've seen
yeah.
him.
Now,
Andy was like, "Oh, did you hear that they're selling the Tumblr for a couple $1,000,000?" I'm like, "Still wouldn't get it."
No, that's not
The
my
tu-
favorite Batmobile.
not.
the Tumblr's cool, but I do.
Does it even use diesel?
Right.
If it's diesel, you might.
No,
I
dude,
mean,
that's jet fuel.
That's
That's
pure
jet fuel,
jet fuel,
dude.
yeah.
That's just pure jet fuel.
Yeah.
I remember he saw the engine on the Batmobile, and he's like, "What is that to?
Yes.
Like, what car is that to?" And I'm like, "It's not. It's for a jet."
I was so hard when I saw that car start up. I was like, yeah.
Because it's the
Yeah.
and then you see the red in the front, and he was like, "Yes, yes."
It's dope. Let's get to Creature Commandos because Renee's gonna have to open up the store soon. But I had no expectations for Creature Commandos only because there was no premise to it originally. There was like an idea.
Yeah.
But James Gunn didn't release anything that would have kind of
No.
made it known to what it was.
I
Gonna
actually
be about.
really like the fact that I went into this not knowing a lot.
Yeah,
It was
and
great.
The beautiful thing about it is that it didn't take long to set up what the story was going to be about.
Yeah.
The first episode is literally Rick Flag Sr. going like, "Okay, you got a new team for me? Well, the government said this," and Amanda Waller's like, "No, we're not going to do that because the government said no, but they never said anything about non-humans."
yeah.
I
And
love
they dumped
I
that.
love the idea. So James Gunn already said, he goes, "It is not canon until it is mentioned."
Mhm.
He goes, "So everything is on the table to become canon, but unless in our new stuff, events are not canon." So
Yeah.
he goes, the events of the end of Peacemaker.
He immediately mentions Peacemaker, like immediately.
Yeah, so he goes
Yeah.
like, yeah, so immediately he mentions Peacemaker, but
Yeah.
he mentions the getting outed by her
Yeah,
daughter.
yeah.
So it goes, okay, cool. So that ending of Peacemaker, that counts.
That's in this new DC universe.
yeah.
Now.
So and not only that, Themyscira
Yep.
in this DC universe.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Everybody thinks it's a myth and everything else. All right.
Which I like that James Gunn's doing this when it comes to Themyscira and the character. These all like male followers are like, "Oh yeah, we
The
love
bros?
it." Yeah, they're like, "Oh yeah, like we it's sexist that there's an island filled with women, Amazonian women. Where's the men and stuff like that?" And I'm like, what the heck?
Where's my
But this
representation?
is awesome. I'm like, this is cool. I love it because it's so stupid.
Yeah, and there's
yeah.
also a thing that they mentioned very briefly
Yeah.
because Weasel dies in the Suicide Squad.
No, he doesn't.
No.
No,
At the end of the movie,
He-
end credit scene,
Yeah.
He
he's
comes out,
alive.
which
Yeah.
is so funny because like people forget about that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, he was a part of this. What is it called? Operation starfish or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, and he's
he
back.
ended up
It's like,
surviving from Operation Starfish.
Yeah, he survived, and technically he's not a human.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
Which
Joe.
is so funny.
And I thought it was. I loved that in the first episode where she's like, where she goes, so these are all criminals, right? And then he goes, yeah, and she goes, even that thing, and then he goes, well, I mean, he did murder 32 children.
Yeah.
28 children.
Yeah, 28 children, and then she goes, "Oh my god!" And he goes, "Yeah, so I wouldn't invite the boys' choir while we're here."
That's so good.
So
It's so interesting. I'm calling it too because I know Clayface is somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Clayface is the girl.
Yeah.
Oh, the princess.
I think Clayface is the princess
That's interesting.
That'd be-
because the queen is
with her. Like,
yeah, I know.
hardcore.
That's why,
what's funny.
because it's gonna be so funny.
Oh my god, I can see James Gunn doing that.
And that's immediately what I thought when I was like, "Oh, Alan Tudyk is playing Clayface." That's
Yeah.
what he said, and he said it's gonna be a maniacal Clayface.
Yeah.
And then as I've been seeing the princess talking, I'm like,
Yeah, the princess
she's
is,
being
like, thirsty.
She's
Like,
thirsty, and
extra
she's
thirsty.
very, but she's
Yeah.
also very manipulative.
Yeah.
Because she immediately went after Flag.
Yeah.
And she's trying to find things out, and she's trying to go like, "Oh, okay, cool," and she's kind of pushing them in certain directions.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be hilarious if Clayface is the girl,
Dr. Facility, like what's his name? Dr. Fastfist?
or yeah, the
Alan Tudyk's voice.
yeah,
you mean?
the other Alan Tudyk.
Oh,
character.
Dr. Phosphorus.
Yeah,
Dr.
Dr. Phosphorus.
I would love to see Dr. Phosphorus make a comment when that's revealed.
Oh yeah, and he's like, "Oh, didn't you smash that?"
yeah.
So I think that would be a great reveal,
Uh-huh.
and then like having Rick disgusted, and he's just like, "Oh God."
Fastfist is just putting salt on the wound.
I just find it really funny that Alan Tudyk is two characters.
Yes.
He's the robot and
GI
he's-
robot, yeah.
And
Nazis?
Dr. Phosphorus.
I love GI Robot. He is perfect. Because he's such a silly concept. Because he's a robot that was built to kill Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been alive for decades, and just like go. And then I love Weasel flying in the plane, and he goes, "Why is this one so worried? Is he a Nazi scum?" And then his head turns into a gun, and he's like, "Oh no, he had a bad time last time he was."
Yeah.
And then you're going like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
Yeah.
Did anybody check if the weasel could swim?
I think another good subplot that I like is the bride. I like how
Oh.
That's a good one.
I
And-
do like
yeah.
how they revealed where she not necessarily took to Frankenstein obviously right away because she was just that's it. That was
Yeah.
it. She was just created. And I like how she built a relationship with Dr. Frankenstein.
Well, she
stuff like
she
that.
imprinted on Dr.
Yeah,
Frank. It's kind of
yeah.
like a baby bird
Yeah, basically.
that had sex with her.
Yeah, that was weird. But you can tell though. You can tell.
Oh
though,
yeah. There's a scene
Yeah.
where what was it where Frankenstein is teaching the bride, and
Yeah.
he's like, and because she's it's kind of like Pretty Things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much like Pretty
Yeah,
Things.
very much.
And then you see Frankenstein wants to be loved by the bride.
Yeah.
And then Frankenstein opens the door, and you just see Dr. Frankenstein just going to town on the bride, and she's like so like in love with
it's-
him.
Mind
It's
you,
kind
she's like remembering it as she's getting beaten up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's a fight going on
Yeah.
with Cersei, and she's remembering her life in Frankenstein's castle.
Yeah.
It's
During
very
the fight.
weird because there's two very disturbing things about that scene. But it's kind of like you kind of understand how it built up that way. The first part is that Dr. Frankenstein explains to Frankenstein that it's like being born again.
Yes.
So her mind is very adolescent.
Yeah.
She
So
doesn't
for
know
the
anything.
first, she doesn't. So for like 15 minutes, you get flashbacks of her learning words and learning what it is to be human and all these different things. So she's like a 5-year-old. Right? No, like yeah. And then there's a scene where she is gifted the pink necklace that is shown to her to show her what a pretty thing looks like, right? And the next scene afterwards is Dr. Frankenstein banging the bride.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about it is, again, two things, right?
Was he married?
He was
He was
married with
married
the
with
children.
kids.
Yeah.
She's still very adolescent in the mind, and she's dead.
Yeah.
So there's necrophilia in it.
She's technically a corpse.
Yeah.
I thought I did think it was interesting though, because I love James Gunn's writing, because a lot of what the monster is saying during those scenes is pulled from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what he did.
The
So,
quotes,
so
yeah.
a lot of the quotes that the monster is saying, and it's so rhythmic and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's because it's from Mary Shelley's.
Frankenstein,
And you're like, oh, this is so
Yeah,
good.
he did
like,
a good job with that.
dude,
I was
and
like,
I love it too. I didn't notice this until New Rockstars pointed it out because I ended up watching their video. So in the very beginning they show all the characters as like a kind of like this is this person, this is this person, this
voiced
is who
by
playing.
this one.
Yeah, and then it says created and written by James Gunn, and then it has a cartoon version of James Gunn, and he's sitting at a computer. If you look at the computer screen, it's always the final line of the episodes because he hits it and he says the episode's done.
Yeah.
And he goes back and then it shows you the computer, and the computer always has the final line of what the episode is going to finish with.
Yeah.
Because then what was it in the first episode? It said "My Bride," and then that's how the first episode ends.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's going to be a reoccurring thing in every single episode, and then so even if you know what the final line is going to be, you don't know how you get there.
Yeah. That's actually a cool little Easter egg. There was also one that I shared in the group that Shaggy is canonical in the DC universe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did you see that clip?
No, but
Well,
I mean,
'cause,
Warner Brothers confirmed it, and this was in like Rivals too, or their.
Well, no. So
Smash
in
Brothers game.
so once.
No, that's different.
Well, no. So what they did was they show Frankenstein and the bride, Frankenstein's monster and the bride fighting throughout the centuries.
The decades.
No, because
He was created in the 1800s.
and we're in the 2000s century.
So, okay, technically. I was like, 200 years is sure.
That's centuries.
Centuries, sure.
So it's through the centuries.
But it goes by decades.
Yeah, it goes by like okay.
Anyways, Shaggy's in there
Because
somewhere.
it goes from 1850 to 1890, and then it skips to 1920.
Like 19, yeah, exactly.
And then it goes to 1950, and then it goes to the 60s, and then it goes on. Centuries. So you see that that the bride always escapes the monster. She goes to go live her life, and then he eventually finds her, and it's a reoccurring thing in their lives. And it happens every single time. And whenever he meets up with her, she hates him, and everything else. So by the end of the first episode, you find out that because Frankenstein's monster is not part of the group yet. He's
Frankenstein creator, or was it Dr. Frankenstein?
No.
creator?
Frankenstein's monster. The Dr. Frankenstein is dead. He gets murdered by Frankenstein, and
After
then
he sees them boning.
basically, and then he goes like, "Well, he was standing in the way of us being together. So now we can truly love each other now that he's gone." And that's why she truly hates him.
Yeah.
This sounds kind of similar to like I forget which Anne Rice book specifically. I think it's Queen of the Damned or The Vampire Lestat, because there's always that parallels. The vampire creating the minion, and they always end up hating each other and things like that. So like hearing Frankenstein looking for her, it's kind of like Lestat looking for
and then you
someone
have
else.
a Dr. Phosphorus. For some way, somehow, he understands Weasel. Like
Well, you should.
Well, it's just super funny because it's very much he was able to put the Groot and Rocket kind of interaction with him, where like Dr. Phosphorus is talking because Rick Flag Sr. is having sex, and then he's like, oh, and then one of the guards comes to the princess's thing and he goes, "I need to talk to Rick Flag," and he goes, "Can you give him 30 seconds?" And then he goes like, "That's all he needs." And then you hear Weasel, and he goes, "You know what, Weasel? You're right. He is in good shape. Give him a minute."
That's funny.
Why didn't you tell me that the bride went out on her own? What, man? You're trying to blame me? I'm trying to be a bro over here.
I'm trying to be a bro. And he's like, "Oh, are you trying to?" But it was funny because prior to this, they got into like this hardcore fight between Phosphorus and Flag, and he's like, "Wait, like I'm supposed to forget that you tried to murder me like a couple hours ago?" And he goes, "That was so then. Like I'm talking about now."
It's also funny because Dr. Phosphorus plays a very Alan Tudyk character,
Yes.
where it's sarcastic because there's a couple lines where he's like, "Yeah, I'd love to be on this mission."
"Are you smiling?" "No." And then he goes, "Well, because he's just a skeleton." So you're getting it from his tone of like whether or not he's smiling or whether he's frowning, and it's just so funny because then there's other times where he's talking and then he goes, "I am smiling now,"
Sarcastically.
yeah, like sarcastically, or he's like, "Oh, why are you smiling?" And he goes, "I'm just a skull." It always looks like I'm smiling.
That's such a Brooke thing.
Yeah.
Feel like from One Piece, that's something Brooke would
Yeah,
say.
and it's really, really good. I love the new interpretation of Weasel. I love Frankenstein's monster. I mean, I like the Bride. I like Dr. Phosphorus with with Alan Tudyk. I'm liking just the group dynamic.
To wrap up the conversation, I will say that the complaints of this being a very James Gunn-y show and giving it a lower score because of that is more on taste than a good, solid reason as to not watch it. Because
That's spiteful right there.
it not. I wouldn't say spiteful. I think it's a good thing to say because some people don't like the James Gunn dynamic, and that's fine. You could say that, but it is a good 180 of what the DCU used to be, which was very dark and very like grungy kind of thing.
I do feel like it's a pushback to the Snyderverse. It's very much like, because it is a 180 to the Snyderverse of like grunge, and then you go, we're not happy, but we're funny.
Yeah. There's more humor to it, and I think you can open up the audiences to that humor and be more accepting of it. So that's the thing that people forget, is that I get it. In comic books, you kind of want to keep things to yourself because you don't want the general public to ruin it and ruin the direction it could potentially go in, right? But the DCU used to be very dark, and it used to be very...
almost too dark.
It was too dark that only a certain demographic of people liked it, and you criticized it, oh, you were done. Like, if we criticized it, we were not considered nerds anymore. So the fact that it's opening up to more of a humorous, light tone, still dark, but they make fun of it, direction, you can have newer audiences go in and be like, oh, I really do like the direction that Creature Commandos is going in. There's still a lot of nerdy stuff because James Gunn is respecting the lore that goes behind it, right?
The only thing I'm disappointed about is that Rick Flag Sr. doesn't keep his white hair for Superman.
Oh. I mean, isn't it gray? It's not white.
Well, it's like grayish white, but he has like the black hair inside the Superman clips.
Oh, never mind.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see. But that's the point I'm trying to get to, is that it's open enough that I feel anyone can get into it. Like, I don't know, does Christy like any of the DC stuff?
Actually, I'm not too sure. No, yeah, she loves Constantine. We've seen a lot of the animated movies. We've seen the Constantine one. We've seen the endings of where the universes colliding or collapsing.
Oh,
And you see the
Crisis on
different-
Infinite Earths.
Yeah, one,
That's a really good
two.
one.
Yeah.
It's a really good one.
But see, that's not
we've seen a
DC.
lot
That's
of
not
those.
DCEU. All that stuff is like non-canonical animated stuff from Warner
You know
Brothers
what?
Animation
I
Studios.
actually would
She
be.
doesn't like the DCU stuff.
There you go.
Not
This is
really.
going to be more open. If
I-
you show her Creature Commandos,
Oh
she'll
yeah,
love
we
it.
I
saw
think
the
she'll love
trailer and we were so excited and we were pissed that it didn't come out in October.
Yeah.
Because it was like previewing on HBO Max
I do-
months in advance.
I do feel.
and
I
didn't like it.
understand not coming out in October though. Even though yes, it would have been a perfect like.
I thought
show.
it was going to come out in October.
My thinking is that I feel like the reason why they wanted it is, once again, they wanted it to hit the holiday season
Yeah.
when people have off and people are gonna be able
Get
to
those
like
views.
get those
Yeah,
views, because
that's
then people
smart.
are gonna be home and they're gonna be like, oh, well, I want to watch something. Oh, the first 2 episodes of Creature Commando are up. All right, let's watch it.
And then by the time it's already Christmas vacation, New
You already
Year's,
got like 2, 3 years. You got like 4
a
episodes.
few more, yeah.
It also has a run on What If Season 3, because that won't release until Christmas time. Skeleton Crew just released right now. Like, Creature Commandos is I would say, probably the most trending show that is on a streaming platform right
Yeah.
now when it comes to that sort of
I
stuff.
would, and I feel like the writing is just so good. The animation is really fun, and I'm really loving the way that they're already kind of creating all these characters and then going, all right, cool. All these characters are now canonical. If they survive this, they'll come back. They're going to be in other movies. They'll be in other TV shows. They'll be in other games. They'll be in comics. And it's like, oh, that's super sick. So I get to now be invested in these characters. And then I can also look forward to going, oh, man, that's going to be really sick when, if they survive, I could get a live action version of this character and go like, oh, this is all right,
Played
cool.
by the same person that voice
Yeah,
acted.
played by the same person that's voice acting it. And I think that Dr. Phosphorus, I don't know how you would do that in live action.
It's Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, I get it's Alan Tudyk, but I mean that would that's gonna be a rough one too. Like that's a huge CGI budget just for
him.
Just his
think of what they
entire
did-
body.
Think of what they did for the robot in Rogue One.
Yeah. But I do really enjoy the show. I think that it's a great start, and I do understand where James Gunn is coming from, where he's even saying because somebody asked him during the press junket of, is Camille Nanjiani going to be Booster Gold. Like, that's the rumor right now, that he's doing Booster Gold. And he even says, he goes, we're not even there yet. He goes, we green-lighted one thing that I can't really talk about just yet. And he goes, I'm only green-lighting things when they are ready. I am not greenlighting anything, and I'm not announcing anything until we are ready. Once I see a script I enjoy, when I get an idea that we can go with, then we're pushing forward with it. We are not
that should be
pushing.
more of an industry standard, because people will get mad, people will talk.
Yeah,
but
it's also a
if
very
we're
dangerous thing
being
because
lied to.
he is a co-CEO of DC Studios. At any point, Warner Brothers could just pull the plug and be like, "You're not."
You know what?
making sense."
But the thing is that if he's
Contracts, maybe he has to have had a contract.
He has to have
signed.
something that's protecting
for them.
him.
For breach of contract, I doubt they would do.
No, and Warner
Especially
Brothers
with
doesn't have
someone
the
like
money
James
to
Gunn.
breach a contract.
my-
still,
my-
I mean,
my-
Disney already messed up with doing that to him when when they canceled him. They're like, "No, you're fired," and then they end up bringing him back for Guardians 3, and then he's like, "You know what? Peace, I'm out."
For James Gunn, I feel like his method is good, because somebody even asked him in the press junket too, what is going to make your DCU different from Feige's Marvel Universe? And he goes, they are storytellers. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end, like a set story. We are world builders.
Nice.
We're building a world, and then we're putting characters in that world, and then when we follow them, we're following them in the world of the DCU.
which is a smart answer because
wanna
he's
make
not
love to
looking to
him.
fight Marvel. He's not. He's and this is what I will probably just kind of like
He's just doing
soapbox.
his own thing. He wants
He
to
is.
do his own thing.
And I'm a soapbox six. I feel like if you legitimately feel like there is a feud between DC Studios and Marvel Studios, it's made up. There is no feud. If you want to watch Marvel Studios, the MCU stuff, go watch it. There's DC Studios now, which is great. I think people forget that you could be different when you come to consuming products. You could read anything you want off the wall, and no one should judge you for that, because everything, there's
It's
a
all
lot
good.
of
There's a lot of good.
There's a lot of good.
There's a lot of good.
So, okay, am I supposed to, like, one of the things is the Superman merch that you showed on the chat.
That's a cool Superman.
That's a
merch.
cool shirt. I would love that shirt.
I want that mug.
I want the shirt. I want a Superman logo shirt.
I'm really hoping that I'll put it in the thing so people can see what we're talking about. But the mug, because that was the big thing, is people were going, I think this is going to be the first poster.
Yeah.
Of Superman in the blue and then the white coming out, and it's just him like this.
Yeah.
And it says 2025, and I was like, if that's the first poster, I'm in.
Yeah.
And I love that they even did the Superman logo, but they did it in the Donner logo, where it's all silver, but it's still that cool S.
Yeah.
That's good marketing. That's great that he's paying homage to the history of Superman.
Yeah. And it's so funny because the one thing I love about James Gunn is that he does deep cuts, and a lot of these like angry nerds go out to call him out, and he's like, "That's not what it's supposed to look like." And he's like, "Well, I mean, this is where I got it from. Back before you were born." You know?
So
Crypto was a good.
In the moon thing.
Crypto's supposed to be a lab. Well, no,
So,
he's actually a tiny little dog.
I think that, because based off of Creature Commandos and where everything is, I think Superman takes place before Creature Commandos and before Suicide Squad. I'm thinking that you have this, it's way before. So that way you go, cool, this is this time. That also explains why Rick Flag Sr. has black hair instead of the gray hair, and he hasn't gotten older yet. Also, it would then establish that we have a Superman in this world, so that way when you talked about it in Peacemaker, they have a Superman that they're talking about. And then they keep on going, and then when they reattach to the Superman now, okay, cool, we're no longer in his second year. Now it's the same Superman, but it's been a couple of years. And then that way you can say, Batman's established, this person's established, and then and then that's how you kick the ground running.
That makes sense. I think that's a solid. That's a very solid. Yeah. No, I don't see a flaw with it.
No.
And because that's the only way you can kind of get away with it, because then all the mentions that you had for Superman, Batman, any of these other, Green Arrow, all these characters that have already been mentioned in Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, all these other ones, you just go, they were talking about that guy.
Yeah.
That's it. They're talking about this dude. They're
You
talking
clip
about
this,
that
and
dude.
James Gunn is like, "No, how did this man do this?"
Whoa, James Gunn watches our content?
Dude, I'm just. We should
awesome.
tag James Gunn at the very bottom just because he does comment to stuff.
He does.
He
does.
comments.
He's
as
like
well.
I see the stuff. I follow him on Instagram too.
yeah.
And
I love
where's
when
Bryan at? Where's Bryan at? Oh, there.
Oh,
he
I've
is.
done the whole "In Gun We Trust," and he's liked a couple of them.
I just love I love when people are guessing his Easter eggs and everything else, and he's always like, "You're close." Like you're really close, but you're not there yet.
Yeah.
But that's what I can see based off of what, because Flag is talking like he's already worked with a Task Force X, and this is a brand new Task Force X. He's a little older. I think that's how you get away with having our Superman movie and also having everything else that we have right now. So getting the cake and eating it too.
Yeah,
Nice.
makes sense.
And I would really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Bryan?
All right.
Any
Well,
closing thoughts.
Creature Commandos is great. I recommend it even if you are not interested in DCU stuff. I feel like it's a good show to just watch. It's got James Gunn humor in it, which if you like it, great. If you don't, okay, go on, move on. Show's not for you, but it's not a bad show.
No,
It's a really, really. I don't think it's a 2 out of 5. Honest review out of 5. It's a 4.
I prefer this animation style over like What If.
Yeah, 100%.
Big time.
I don't like that weird CGI looking
Shading.
Yeah.
kind
the
of-
shell shading one. I don't really
no.
like it. I love this 2D
Yeah.
look to it. It's fantastic. It's great.
Yeah.
I give it a 5 out of 5. I loved these 2 episodes. I was enthralled as soon as I started watching it.
Yeah.
I immediately started watching it. I burned through the first 2 episodes.
Funny how these 2 episodes, because I think one of the biggest kind of small complaints that we do is that we always say like, oh, they should have released these like the first 2 episodes instead of releasing one. Or they should have maybe released 3 episodes instead of 2. I feel like he understood the assignment and said like these 2 episodes is a good setup to make you anticipated for the next couple of episodes that come out.
Yeah, I mean,
Because it ends in a way that's like, oh, okay, now I'm interested.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Yeah, because the way that ends, but also, if you would have ended it with episode 1,
What was the end of episode 1? Was it Frankenstein?
it was Frankenstein saying, "My bride."
Yeah, I feel it understood.
Yeah, he understood the assignment, and I feel like that's the reason why I'm super excited for his version of the DCU. He understands what we're looking for. He understands how this should be going, and I really do. I'm inspired to see what he's going to do next for the DCU, and it makes me more excited for Superman and Batman 2 and Green Lantern.
The Lantern Corps.
The Lantern Corps, because if this is the amount of care and dedication that he's putting into those projects, man, I'm excited.
The next 7-8 years for DC is gonna be.
Well, because
I would 5 years. He
5
always
years.
plans for
5
5.
he plans 5 years, but and I love the idea of him going, we're doing Superman, we're doing Creature Commandos, we have Peacemaker, we have Brave and the Bold, but Brave and the Bold doesn't have a script yet. It's not. It has a script, but it's not finished. And Lanterns. Oh, and Supergirl. So those are the 5 projects that they're like working on, and then apparently there's one more that just got greenlit. Because that's what he said. He goes, we have one more that we greenlit, but I can't talk about it yet. But we did just greenlit a brand new project.
DC needs to be in the limelight. How Marvel was in the limelight a couple years ago.
I would say-
I feel like it's their turn, and James Gunn is doing a good job pushing them in that direction.
I
It's
feel
a
like
double-edged sword.
Yeah, because I feel like what James Gunn saw what happened at Marvel when you talk too much. Because I feel like that's what happened with Marvel. Marvel went, this is the next 10 years. And then everybody went, oh my God, this is going to be so cool. Like, I can't wait. And then, James Gunn's also a movie maker. And he knows if I plan 10 years, so a lot of things that can go wrong in 10 years.
Like actors dying, actors getting canceled,
Movies in hiatus.
Things
Script-
like that.
scripts
There's
fall
too many
through.
variables to be planning 10 years. It's cool to have an idea and like let's do that and that, but like let's not have anything.
Because it sounds like what he's doing is he's getting a solid team together. And then getting the script that he's happy with and a storyline that he's happy with that'll then push that'll push the world further. Because like he said, he's not
being
story
overly ambitious at all.
Yeah, and he's going, cool. This is a story that's in our universe. Run with it.
Yeah.
You guys have it. Go do what you got to do. And we're happy with the script. We'll oversee what you need. If you have any questions, come back to us. But for the most part, it's your baby. Have fun with it. Cool. And so far, it's been James Gunn. Lanterns is going to go off to somebody else.
So there's a genius idea to this, because I think you might have mentioned it in the chat, because I briefly talked about it, is that James Gunn is the talker. Peter Safran is the...
well, he's the money man.
He's the money man. He's the guy that says, like, all right, James Gunn, you know what? I agree with you. Let's do this. Go out and say something.
Yeah, these are... Also, I do feel like he's the guy in the room where James is like, and then we could do this, and then we could do this, and then we could do this, and then he just goes, all right, so we have budget for one of those things. So pick one.
You know, do you remember that Key and Peele skit where Michael Key is playing the president that's talking very like, and then the translator goes like, so in other words,
anger translator.
Yes. I feel like that's what it is James Gunn is the enthusiastic guy, and Peter Safran's like, well, what James Gunn meant to say was that we have 5 years planned.
And I do love the idea that Peter Safran, you haven't heard a lot from him.
No, he hasn't said a single thing.
He hasn't said a single thing. And then James Gunn is in the forefront because James is like, this is where I feel at home. I'm okay with this. I can be in the front. If people want to attack me, that's okay. Everything else, you go in the back and
go, Peter! Run! I'll hold them back!
Just make magic! Make the magic!
Leave me behind!
But they're both really skilled. I'm so glad that that Warner Discovery really figured it out and put their DC universe in appropriate hands and not Zack Snyder.
So James Gunn, I just realized this. We got to wrap up the show, but I just realized this. James Gunn did take a bullet for Peter Safran.
When?
Do you remember who directed the last Marvel Captain Marvel movie?
It was Peter Safran, wasn't it?
Peter Safran.
Yeah.
And people forgot.
Yeah.
I feel like people forgot. So he did technically take a bullet for him because no one has mentioned it.
He did the Marvels, right? Or the...
What was the last Captain Marvel movie called? I
the
forgot.
Marvels.
The Marvel.
Was it the Marvels?
Or,
yeah.
No, the Marvels was...
Oh, that wasn't Peter Safran. That was a...
No, that was Peter Safran.
Was it Peter Safran?
Not Disney's The Marvels.
Which
Captain Marvel with Zachary Levi.
Oh!
The sequel. That was a Peter Safran directed film. Shazam.
Shazam.
Oh, okay.
Why did I think of... I could not... Wow, okay.
It's
I'm
like
sorry.
Shazam and the Gods or something like that.
Yeah. That's a Peter Safran directed film, and it did not do well.
But I will say I feel that there was a lot of... I feel like there was a lot of like tinkering.
Yeah, there was.
Because you can really tell in that movie that there's a lot of things that were either taken out or there wasn't a finished script.
No, there wasn't.
Or, oh, how do we do this? How do we do that? And it's kind of like, oh, God, dude, come on.
No, yeah, but that's what I mean is that Peter Safran is co-CEO of DC Studios, and we're not really holding it against him.
So somebody was mentioning, what if the picture of Superman getting dressed isn't Brainiac? What if it's Cersei? Because it's
Superman.
Because it's purple, and then it's because it's a green light mixing with purple.
Yeah.
So what if it's Cersei fighting Guy Gardner
in the background?
In the background, and Superman's getting dressed.
Isn't there a machine coming out of the clouds?
I don't know. It's just clouds, and it's an orb. So we don't know what it is. So
if it's Cersei and Green Lantern.
So that's why they were saying, oh, what about if it's Cersei and Green Lantern, and we thought it was Brainiac, and this is like the beginning of the movie.
Part where you insert that photo again and see if we can zoom in. Enhance, Nick. Enhance.
But I thought that was a really interesting thing of going like, oh, this has been like, if that is true, then that means, oh, we've been thinking about this for a year. For a year, this is where we were. Us. Yeah, and he juked everybody, going like, "That's dumb-looking Brainiac," and he's like, "Cause it's not Brainiac, dummy. You've been played.
Prepare to have your pants wet."
Because I think that would be interesting too, of Clark not getting involved because Guy Gardner is already there, and then he sees Guy Gardner losing, and then that's why he starts getting dressed, because he's like, "Oh, god dang it. Guys messing it up. All right, hold on. Let me get dressed. I'll go out there."
That's not a bad idea.
That would be an interesting idea, and that would be a really funny scene of just seeing Guy Gardner like, "I got the Superman," and then immediately, boom.
All right.
I gotta see that.
Have you seen the Doomsday one? Because they did do that with Hal Jordan.
No.
It was the Justice League versus Doomsday. I mean, what was it, like Doom movie? It was an animated movie.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Hal Jordan. And it's Hal Jordan. He's like, and Batman goes, Hal, don't. He's too strong. And he goes, I got this. And he runs at him, and then you see Darkseid just pip slap him.
Yeah.
He hits the wall, falls down, and then you just see a parademons just like start beating him up.
Yeah, that's Justice League. Isn't it Doomsday or
I
something?
think it's like
Yeah.
Justice League Doomsday or something.
Yeah.
But it's so funny to watch. And then you see Batman get all the parademons away from him, and he goes, so how was that for you? And he goes, shut up.
I love that scene so much.
I think if they have that kind of humor inside the Superman movie, that's going to be great.
It's so good.
I trust that.
Alrighty, so let's wrap up this issue, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here. Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 226. Please go check out our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com. Check out our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and I need someone to do it, xmen.com. Go check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Keeping Up with the Nerds, and our audio platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean. Thank you again for everyone who has recently subscribed, who has been sharing our content. We appreciate you guys. We've got more planned things coming up for you guys in the new year, so keep an eye out for that. And we're still making our issues throughout the month of December. The only thing is no skits. Just a reminder, we're going to be putting up backlog of some stuff, so expect that this week. It'll be coming out. More stuff from LA Comic Con and more stuff from Whittier Comic Fest from earlier this year. With that said, are we ready to wrap up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Go for it, Nick.
This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 226. You did that and you messed me up.
Sorry.
I was like 226 and I was like, is it not? Let me start over. This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 226. My name is Nick Valero.
Bryan.
Sean.
And Rene.
See y'all on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.